It's so exciting seeing 24 countries again. It's so different than before.
I come to another tournament of PUBG, and this tournament is very big for me.
I won't lie, it's my first time and I'm nervous.
非常的羡慕，然后很向往，所以这一次能参加 PNC 还是对自己挺骄傲的。
I enjoyed playing the game with you guys and enjoyed the nice trip to Korea.
I mean, the boys thought that we didn't qualify. We all were happy because we know that we play finals.
The most memorable is probably just the people you get to meet, a lot of new faces and a lot of new people you finally get to meet face to face.
今年はちょっと、自分がオーダーをしていたんですけど、やっぱオーダー経験がちょっと浅くて、そう味方をうまく動かせなかったっていうのが。
PNC is like an unscripted movie, and I'm very excited for next year.
Thank you guys very much for supporting us, and hopefully we'll be here again next year.
Thank you to all the fans from all different languages and cultures. I think it's wild that we have such an intersection here.
就大家辛苦了吧，就是感觉这次是个就很棒的比赛。
It's been a difficult 5 days for us, but I'm thankful to my teammates and all the fans for supporting us the whole time.
Y estoy muy orgulloso de mi nivel.
We really appreciate the invite. I hope there will be Philippines on next year.
我的 PNC 也结束了，那我希望你们还是一样可以继续支持 PNC。
Participating to PNC as team friends is really nice.
이번에 처음 나온 나라들도 있고 처음 나온 선수들도 많을 텐데 재밌게 경기력을 보여줘서 고맙다고 생각하고 있습니다.
A collaboration with ESPA, and some changes to vehicle camo netting. All this and more as we dive into the Update 36.2 patch report. First up, Miramar is getting a visit from the K-pop group ESPA. All across the Badlands, you'll find concert venues, decor, and other visuals based on the group. Many other maps have ESPA visuals, such as themed care packages and planes as well. There's also an emote stage on the starting island of every 8x8 map, for you to perform some of their most iconic tracks, including their latest hit. Next up, vehicle camo netting is seeing a durability improvement and is being added to Rondo and Taego this update as well. The improved durability only applies to bullet damage, and there are still some conditions in which the netting is instantly destroyed, so check out the patch notes for full details. The clan system is also getting some love. There are new ways to show off your achievements, including a new weekly ranking page, along with new clan tag plates. Full details in the patch notes. There's also a new Survivor Pass. Regions with duo mode can now choose one-man duo in normal and ranked. And we've tackled some bugs. So be sure to check out the patch notes for details on everything. Update 36.2 is here. So park the car in a safe spot and get ready to rock out with Espa. We'll see you on the battlegrounds.
Oh my god, we killed them both! Whoa! Holy that car keeps rolling. Holy shit. Oh, up there. Guess all up there.
He's down.
Oh, hell no.
Yoink.
Tree's still jigging.
Go, bro, go, bro,
Yeah, the thing's gonna go quick, bro. You gotta go. No way.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh, shot. What? No way. No freaking way.
Welcome to the PUBG Players Tour. This year, we're introducing structured competitive play in third-person perspective mode for players of all ranks, levels, and ability. Here's how it works in EMEA and Americas. PUBG Players Tour competition is held in 2-week phases. Each week, you and your squad can compete in player scrims. Think of these as a great alternative to ranked play. Each day of scrims will feature a variety of maps, with defined team and lobby sizes to ensure a balanced best-of-3 rounds. Teams will earn points based on their performance, and daily leaderboards will track their progress. When the scrims are over, the top teams will qualify for the PUBG Players Tour Cups, where they will be joined by up to 10 invited teams, featuring some of the best players in the region. Players' Cup leaderboards will track team performances across 2 days of play, with the top 8 squads progressing to the final round of competition. Players Masters are the pinnacle of the PUBG Players Tournament. 8 teams from each of the 2 cups will engage in fierce competition for a huge prize pool in each region across the PUBG Players Tour season. And for times when a Players Masters isn't scheduled, you can still get your PUBG Players Tour fix with Super Cups. These work just like Masters events, where again, 16 teams, 8 from each of the 2 previous Players Cups, compete for a share of the total cash prize pool. Welcome to the PUBG Players Tour. You know the game. Be a player.
Here we go, the final day though of PUBG Super Cup. I'm Mark Powerboy and joined by the amazing not-so-co-host Felix. Welcome back, mate. It's been a hot minute, mate, but I'm glad to have you in the hot seat. We've had 2 days of great, fantastic action. The final games though, as we've only got 4 left to play for. It's been pretty intense, but I'm glad to have you next to me during these games.
Excited to be back. Once again, I've already said it. Usually it's weird being with you now. Usually it's Kobo that's sitting right next to me. Usually it's you that I have to replace. But fortunately enough, I do get some casting minutes with you as well in this PPT season. And I'm excited to be here today, as I said, right? Exciting teams as well. I watched it the last 2 days. Yesterday evening. And as you have told me before the stream as well, there's a lot of new names coming into this.
Yeah, definitely not your name. So what you're telling me is that you're my hot replacement double. So when the old guy has to step out, Felix steps in. Yes, there are some hot names that are in the hot mix for this one. But just remind you guys, how did we get here, though? There's only a few more left of these where you can sign up for the PUBG Tour scrims. We had a week 1, we had a week 2. Players duked out. They've done best of 3s to get enough points on the leaderboard. They then found themselves in a PUBG Player Tours Cup, where there was $1,000 up for grabs. And then we took a top 8 from the first week and a top 8 from the second week, Felix, and we got to merge up to the Super Cup. $5,000 up for grabs now, so more money, but it is the end of the line of this circuit. And as I said before, it has been an impressive 8 games so far, and it is a pretty tight running. I still think that obviously we saw Slam G, which is a well-known name. We expect them to do quite well in this one, but we had Skittles coming out pretty hot at the very end, obviously trying to close out multiple games, but also Win or Die. They're a name that we know very, very well, but they was able to sneak their way in.
Yeah, top performances from a lot of really, really great players. Obviously, Win or Die, one of the more known teams in this lobby. I kind of want to say one of the most experienced teams in this lobby as well. They're never the least experienced teams, but especially in a lobby like this, I feel like they will be shining even more so today. And we can see 7 gaming as well. They did have a little bit of a mixed bag, I kind of want to say, throughout the last 2 days, but they did have some pretty big rounds as well. And I'm excited to see what else they can pull off in this last match day that we have coming up for today, which is only going to be 4 matches, by the way, once again. So there's limited time for most of these teams that are really close to the top placements now to make things happen.
This is the thing, right? We talk about placements as well. Like Win or Die in the top 4 scenario, with them with Slam G, limited when it comes down to placements. They've been really farming the kills, and I suppose with the names, we expect them to be able to do that. And the heightened aggression, so I say, Felix, when we've got a half-price chicken dinner rule set. Everyone's going out kind of for the kills pretty much early on. But it's teams like Skittles, Conquest, and Go Next Esports, where they've been a bit more consistent when it comes into getting a top 4. That's why we see them heavy on the placements. Being, as Cora said yesterday, yes, the kills are really important. They're kind of hyper important. But if you can get into a top 4 scenario, well, that's just going to ensure maybe a couple of extra points. And that might be the difference when we've only got 4 games left.
Yeah, exactly. It's literally exactly what you just said, and I think what Cove was said yesterday as well. It's definitely a new kind of territory for most of these teams in terms of how do you want to play certain scenarios now with this new point system in place. Once again, be reminded we have a different point structure. We're going to get into that in just about a second, but we've seen it, play out for the last 2 days, and it really does shine through that there's a little bit more aggression, a little bit more difference in decision making the first 3-4 phases when you kind of get to realize really early on, is this a kind of a game that I can win, or is it a game that I should just pick as many frags as possible now? How realistic is the chance to really get far on this one? I think that's kind of the biggest differentiator that we've seen so far. Teams realizing that some of these rounds are really just to be given up rather early on, and will go for these frags as a result of that.
Yeah, talk about frags. One team that has been climbing a bit slow was 180 yards. Seen him on the receiving end, should we say, of a crash there on that last game. When we're checking it out, I'm quite impressed with me. Unable to get the placement points just yet, but again, getting those frags in has been good to see. And Hive. Oh my God, they had a slower start, but they did work themselves up in day number 2, Felix. Now again, they're a team, we know the names. I'd expect Hive to be in the topic of conversation, but realistically, a top 8, they're the only teams that are getting paid out here in Hive. They're in the midway point that they could make greatness, they could maybe get some more money, but I do fear they lost a lot of momentum coming into the end of yesterday.
Yeah, they're also one of the few teams in the top 5, not only top 5, in the top 8 that really hasn't gotten a lot of placement points just yet. Nope. Right, it's been Conquest that's just about 15 points, Skittles with 18, which is part of maybe like the biggest reason even why they're in the first place right now. If you look at the differentiation between Skittles and Winner Die, for example, Winner Die has really been struggling as well. And then there's Slam G, obviously, even though they haven't really touched late game all too much, even they have more placement points than I have. So if they pick it up just a tiny bit in terms of getting to late game a little bit more consistently, I can totally see them at the very least staying inside these prize positions. And as you said, right, top 5, that's where you got to be.
Well, let's remind everyone, though, who's playing. If you are the first time joining in, these are our top 8 teams. Currently as it stands, we will bounce over to Leaderboard before we get this game started, because the guys do want to get underway pretty quickly. But Skittles obviously are leading that charge at the moment. They've done pretty well. 7G clawing their way up. Only 1 placement point for that team. We talk about placement points, but they're holding on to a 7th place at the moment, and they've got some major kills underneath their belt. Wanna Die, obviously, I did sneak in a little bit late yesterday. Slam G do fall down. Hive will be unchanged. Go Next also unchanged realistically. But good amount of placement points. I feel like day number 1 was Go Next sort of day for me. Skittles had a good start, multiple teams getting wins there, but they were kind of the ones that could keep finding themselves in the top 4 scenario. Skittles, though, day number 2, it was kind of where we expected them, where we envisaged they should be to start with. But I think they're doing well. That is a gap now, 84 to 60. I think Win or Die and a Slam G, I think they're eager to maybe close that gap, but 4 games, those 2 teams need explosive action from the drop.
Yeah, I think most of these teams now today really need explosive actions. So the fact they only have 4 games left now, it's really going to come down to the wire. Let's take a look at some of these statistics. We have Skittles, Win or Die. I think the most interesting teams throughout the last 2 days, not just in terms of points, obviously they are the top 2 teams, but also in terms of their playing style and the experience between them, and then obviously the big storyline between Skittles. Has got to be like, what kind of breakout performance has this been in the first two days? First of all, why has it been that way? I think you can attest to that. Later on, I'll get a little bit more into detail. And second point, can they keep it up? Because yes, 24 points is a lot, but it's not really that much if you have Winner Die Slam G right behind you. And we've seen these guys have 30, 35, 40 points days, especially in qualification, with not that much experience, similar to how this lobby right now is at the very, very top level between them and the enemies. So I could totally see this be very close in the last game as well.
This is the big thing. Yeah, I think it is going to come down to being close. The points, yeah, 24, it is a breakaway. If Skittles come out and get a good first game, which if we look back at game number 1 on day 1, they won. They got the points, they got the chicken. So they've always performed very well on Miramar. But the difference between day 1 and day 2 for me, Felix, is Skittles only performed in 1 game, day number 1. Day 2, they were a bit more consistent. They were able to perform multiple games and get multiple kills, actually high killing games. So I think their trajectory has been an upward between day 1 and day 2. If they go back to a day 1 and they're only able to perform on the first game, then that's worrying, because a team like Win or Die, a team like Slam G have the depth, they have the knowledge, have the experience to be able to pull back that gap. I do worry about teams like Conquest. They're kind of new into the mix. We've seen them about. We've seen them obviously working their way up. It's good to see them here. I don't know if they've got that sort of drive, that experience to be able to close that gap down. They've been doing well so far, so it'll be interesting to see. But we just get things going now. It is match number 9 for Alex, though, but it is the final day here of the Super Cup. We're going from a southeast up towards a northwest. Give or take, we go for the heart, the soul. That's Miramar, but it's our final one playing.
Let's get into it. First game of the 4 that we're going to see today. And you stopped it off there on the analysis section with Conquest. I'd be more interested, actually, to see Fairy Tail can make it out of the bottom. It's 17 points right now between them. They haven't got a single placement point. That's something to be talked about as well. That's definitely the most experienced team, maybe not in terms of individual players, but as a whole, as a group, as a collective, on that second part. Maybe arguably one of the most experienced teams, even on that first page of the leaderboard. So seeing them that far down, I don't know. It is kind of weird to me. I don't think that's going to change unless they really make a big move.
It's shocking. It is shocking. Me and Koro spoke about this. They were not in a bottom side team for us. They were like, you got to remember, this circuit, we've not had the big team. The reason being is that we've had the PNCs, we've got the EWCs coming up, right? So we've got a lot of teams out traveling, getting ready for the big circuit. So for this circuit, for us on the Players Cup Tour, it's actually been quite open for some of these teams that, one, are up and coming, or two, that have worked their way through those scrims. Fairy Tail has been a consistent team when it's been on this circuit, has been a consistent team fighting out for the money. But this ending, this has not been there. There's something not quite right. The synergy's not there, which I'm so surprised about for them.
Yeah. Pretty good circuit for plenty of these teams. Very fair phase 1 as well, especially in terms of the playing path. A couple of long rotations definitely coming in for Go next, and obviously some of these teams towards the northern side of things. But even that should be really, really fair and really, really decent. You have a long rotation path towards the west side that's pretty much entirely open. No one's towards Chuma even. No one's towards Monte. We might see Keziel obviously, expanding a little bit, but even then, they shouldn't really go into any trouble rotating that way. So really fair phase 1. I expect Impala to be free phase 1. Even Slam G usually rotates rather early in some of these if they do have the power to get to some of the spots south of Las Leones, which I expect them to do as well. So yeah, excited to see how phase 2, phase 3 onwards goes, because this one is a great start, not in terms of playing path, but in terms of circle as well for the majority of the teams.
Yeah, this is a good start. Zone-wise for these teams, it should be pretty fair, pretty even. It hasn't gone for a hard shift. Not just yet, anyway. A little bit of water, so we have to factor that in. Lost Leones obviously in the heart. That would be intriguing, but with Skittles and 100 AR showing this for the last couple of days, yes, we've had some early engagement. I can't see too much happening. It's going to be more about these teams working their way in. So for 100 ADR, they need to reposition. They need to watch out in that northwest corner, wait for the teams to sort of play in towards them. And again, it's going to be the same, those sort of hillsides in that northeast corner. It'll be interesting to see if Skittles opt to stand the south here, Felix, or maybe look to maybe go for a 2-2 split and maybe look to claim some of that high ground in the north.
Yeah, it's a really good split. There's plenty of options as well where really how you can split 2-2 there. I'm expecting it to happen as well. Just got to be careful. There's too many teams around to really do it phase 2 onwards, but we're getting way ahead of ourselves there in terms of analysis. See how it happens. KZL is now starting the rotate as well. They're not even going into Chuma all the way, which is what I expected them not to do either. They realize as well they have so much power, so much good timing on it, and they will start to rotate rather early as well. This is what we're talking about, right? If you do have the prio, might as well take some of these compounds early on. Get that information on the way there as well. Like this one, for example. And he still seems to be just a tiny bit scared for Presenti. That's very unusual for a player like him, but he does realize if both of them turn around at the same time, he might be in trouble. And there's 2 more players rotating into Presenti who has to leave that compound. Smart decision by him. I totally would have made that mistake. I definitely would have fought for it, but he realizes 2 more players towards the west-end side are very quick on the rotate, and he might just get swarmed if he's not careful enough. Good dodge there.
Yeah, it's good dodge from him, and that's obviously part of reading that his team is quite far behind as well. Now, they've got the compound a bit to the north. That's got the recall system. We know that is a good hold to have, but the rest of them still leaving out that San Martin. So, again, good play from him. He could have committed to that. He could have been overloaded come the crash from Winner Chicken Dinner. While waiting for the action, though, to kick off, it's definitely worth noting that while we've been having the half-price chicken dinner, the sales have to come to an end at some point, and unfortunately, this is the final day that you're going to be seeing that half-price chicken dinner. So let's get back into things, though. Get one Winner Chicken Dinner clash in, and 100 AR also taking the third-party actions. It didn't take long, 4 minutes 42 seconds, and we've already got our first kill underway.
Some more shots towards Eddie out the distance there. But it's a good start nevertheless. There might be a couple eyes on towards these players, but they are safe for the time being. And there we have it. And on my bed, rotating in the distance as well. Did almost get a shot out of the car, actually. That's crazy shots coming out from the compounds. And this might just make that rotation a little bit messy. You can see there's a second rotation just behind them rotating in. And that's how much just one good placed headshot on a rotation can really turn around your game. He's completely split apart from his teams now, from his teammates now. And we talked about this, right? When it died, they need to stay consistent, they need to stay strong. And if they're being chased like this in phase one, things are not starting to look good. And look at where the rest of them are rotating into as well. Quintic's almost doing a lot of damage right there. More shots coming in. Just one headshot being needed there to take down potentially two, maybe one more player at the very least from Win or Die, but they will make it through. And I don't think Hello My Bed has been dropped either, so they might just make it out of this one alive.
Yeah, he used the sandstorm to his advantage. He's rotating north, bad rotation. Looking to rotate the same way as him, but Hive have given up that chase. 7G, well, they pulled up as well. The beer fella's rolling with the beer bus, and the beer bus has got no gas left. Oh, he just about gets over the top. Grown, unfortunate there, one shot away. Might need to get a reload before he gets rolling. And now for the rest of the beer fellas, well, the car goes further afield. They are driving forward. X-Roll is going to just see the rotation away, maybe look for the tyre exchange, but no, doesn't quite get the connection he wants. Level 3 vest gives him the additional confidence boost that you need. He's going to hold the line.
We talked about this early on as well, KZL. They tried to rotate early, and they will find some footing, despite the rotation itself not being the cleanest of the rotations I've seen from them so far in the finals. I would have expected them to go way more down southwest. Even more down southwest than they are right now, essentially, if you look where they started, you know, just west of Chumacero, south of Picado. You kind of know, if you get an entry to the southern side of things, or at least to the western side, and then rotate down to the south, this is going to be the most clear out of all the edges that you can play. But they will opt for a little bit more action, and they will opt to look and see if they can grab a quick rotation on phase 2 pop as well. So far, once again, we are centered all around Los Leones, and most of the teams have kind of anchored all around it as well. To be fair, I've only really seen limited endings in recent times all around Los Leones, so it is understandable that you want to commit to some of these good positions all around it, or on the edges of Los Leones relatively early on.
Well, if you just get it's like having your toe half dipped in the water, right? They're sitting on the outside edge, right? 100 ADR, they've jumped in there, that 5-stack super OP, so no reason why they shouldn't be there. But some of these other teams that are coming in, like Win or Die, that have just taken the outside compounds, or some of the teams like SlamG who've taken that northern elevation that looks into Los Leones as well. If the zone shifts in, well, they get the opportunities, you know, FedEx to jump in as quickly as they can. But if the zone shifts away, well, they can potentially stand in an area where they can farm the points. If teams have to leave, they'll be in a better position now to try and pick up those points. Go next. They have a team that want to pick up some points here today as well. Definitely have been a driving force, which is good to see. They're at the top of the table. Had a great day number 1. Day 2, not as consistent, but it'd be good to see them if they can get that momentum rolling, because they've already got money allocated to them. Let's see if they can hold on to it, but more importantly, if they can claim more.
Our favorite team, by the way, Weewoo. Just based off
Best
the name.
ever.
Weewoo. Yeah, it does ring quite literally, doesn't it? Quick rotate to the northeast, and well, not so quick, to be honest. They are one of the very last teams to actually make it in. Combined with Fairy Tale, you can see on the western side, just now entering the safe zone. There is, however, one last team that is just now making their way into the play, still in blue zone. I talked about this at the very start of the phase, as we saw it, as it literally popped. The teams coming in from the northwest might have a bit longer rotation path, but a rather clean entry. You can see this happening in the southwestern side of things, and we'll take a look at that in just a moment as well. But be that as it may, I talked about it. I don't expect too many fights happening in phase 1, and that's exactly what's happening. 50 seconds, however, until that might just change. And you can see Win or Die, even being the team that's surprising to me, they did make it in, and I think as a result of that, a very messy rotation. We'll have to commit to the city a little bit more than they originally liked. I don't think they planned on any up here.
Well, no, they're still free, aren't they? And my bad is very much in that top side. Also, though, Win or Die have been really consistent. It's been a bit of weather today when it comes down to the mortars. So, looks like the Fantastic is going to find somewhere to start place this down. I think he'll be looking and targeting this up for the north as well. So, if that zone does shift, I think SlamG will be the option of choice. I think he knows exactly where to launch it. He's just going to 0-1 in for an idea. It will be impressive if he catches it. I think he's going to go to the top of the hill. I think it's more going to hit where that car is, yeah. This team is really, really good at finding range. So for me, that was intended. I feel like he's just worked out exactly and confirmed the distance that he needs now. And there's that zone shift. Wow, oh wow, we go heavy, heavy to the southwest.
Yeah, this is a perfect shift for Go Next now. Once again, I talked about this. The teams that do have to rotate quite far, and Go Next was one of them. If you do find an entry to the west and southern side, and it does shift your way, you've got all the open rotation space that you really need. They do have to be careful, however, because you can see Milcario has actually over-rotated them. They've just about found that opening towards the southern side a little bit earlier. As the rotates are now coming in, they need to be careful not being shot out right away. He runs out of ammunition. One more shot being needed. Mini 14 in hand. I don't think he's going to find it. That is unfortunate. Conquest just barely not finding that frag and will not continue phase 2 with that very first frag. Finny will find himself a dip to heal back up. But this is what I was talking about. You get that early rotate, get that one shift, and phase 1 rotate doesn't really matter that much anymore.
No, Conquest were quite late going in, weren't they? They did take the heavy rotation around that sort of western path on Miramar. Lucky enough for them, it shifts down towards that southwest. They already find a really good position. That's why they find themselves in some hard cover before Go Next, and that is unfortunate. Cramsey away. Millimeters, inches, a hair whiskers for taking a knock here. Beerfellas down a body. Look on to the next compound here. Belief. Just keeping an eye. They're ahead of Slam G, so they've held part of the zone, but not quite in cover here. Arctic has pulled up. He knows this. Gets into the car. Takes some damage. Boostic as well getting involved. And it's actually Mogor that finishes things up. So, free team when it comes down to Slam G. Lurik's not too far behind here. Player needs to be careful. If he's thinking about this res, the pressure will not relieve. They need more than belief to come out this one alive.
Oh, yes, they do. Lurix is already making his way back up the ridgeline. And I think he's going to have an angle, at least on Sunflower. Just a second. First couple tags coming in. That's a third one. Maybe just one more shot being needed. He doesn't hit it just yet. Now he does. Lurix actually does find it in the end. I was worried that for a second. But in the meme, I believe, has picked up that one down player. At the very least, that's the one good thing for them. Put in the car and they are driving off. But is it really worth it for them? Not really. They will lose plenty of control, and they will lose one player, as we just saw, in the process of that as well. They'll have to reset, and it's not an easy entry now coming into this from the northern side.
The thing is about Slam G need points, right? And with the hard price chicken dinner, I know I harp on about this. It's the last day you have to hear about this, guys. Kills the key, right? They now know that compound in front has one knocked and has two persons standing. Why would they not ever take the opportunity to rotate around them and hold them out in the next zone? Or more importantly, go for the elevation and crash into them? Slam G have that level of aggression that they can take. Frenchie now showing us that he can't quite see all of the angles. If they choose to wrap up and round, it's going to be dangerous for him. It's going to be very reliant on this one player for belief.
Over towards the southern side.
Salik, rip.
Yeah, we both saw it at the same time. Salik, unfortunately enough, does need to be picked up. As you can see on the mini-map, no one's turning around. Does continue on their rotate. Very centralized shift now, as we see in phase 3. It's to be expected. I think after that second shift, it wasn't going to end in the city anymore. I think most of the teams really knew that. You can see almost no one really opted to go for the city or even rotate through it. Everyone was kind of aiming for these positions deep towards the south side. You can see them on the quickness of the rotations as well. Phase 2, as soon as that pop happened, I want to say 10, 11, maybe even almost any team quickly rotated really on that circle pop, trying to make sure they do not get over-rotated by anyone else that could potentially have less prior than they do on towards some of these drops. And you can see this right now. Emergency pickup coming in as well now. We'll see how that one works.
Yeah, winner chicken dinner had the recall as well. They've got their bodies back up. So be careful. They've got to make sure they get some loot. I'm seeing some interesting recall systems recently. Reboot on the hold. There's a 3. Slam G run into them and get denied. Now they have to turn around and go back the other way. This is quite an interesting zone for me, Alex. Why? Because we've lost the zone. We've lost the main city. Again, I think you're right. I think we really expected that anyway. But then we hold on to a lot of resort. Now, logically, we kind of go north of here and we end in that sort of crossroad. but there's not a lot of cover there. These places have already been taken. There's a couple of dips and crevices, and we've still got 16 teams up. So there's not a lot of movement here now. It's phase number 3. We're looking for phase number 4, and if you haven't found a position and you have a hard shift, you have no option now but to fight your way through.
Yeah, totally. Now we saw the emergency job being taken behind at ADR, and yeah, you talked about it. Unless you can make that rotation happen, you really do have to fight your way through, which, to be fair, you're kind of lucky in this zone. Miramar does give you the options to do exactly that. And it is a rather fair zone to do it as well. Much different to let's say, the centralized eastern part, right around Impala, for example, right around the creative fields. Much tougher zones to fight your way through. This one does give you the opportunities to do so. Lots of on-foot potential, as you can see in this fight here as well. Getshot's the first fight to get dropped down, actually. Log, a little bit of a back and forth. Nate's hitting on both sides, but it is Levante finding Hero. Interesting enough, his teammate couldn't save him all the way. And on the other side, the southern side to be exact, Slam G finally finds their way in as well, but it's Lark on the other side almost immediately, trying to go for one more. Look at this, Matt. Trying to do it all on his lonesome. He does find one, but he gets shot in the back as well. Leosh, together with Levante, finally get an angle on him. I thought that took a little bit too long, but it does make it work in the end.
Does make it work in the end. Hell of my bad actually joins that fight at the very end as well. BFL driving to secure a spot as a solo. Multiple teams crashing away in Hive in problems now. Slam G, I like they were trying to bait the car, but he did take a little while from Lock to engage into that fight. So very cautious. There comes that zone shift, goes back towards that north side resort, sort of holding on. Will die. Slam G, Lock. Well, they've got to lock themselves into a fight, potentially clear the path in. Slam G opt actually to say, no, we're going to rotate our way in now, try and get ahead of this resort action. But here come the ensued fights, and Beerfed as well. Final player here, only 1 kill under the belt, multiple nades to get launched. Final one about to leave. Can he make the connection? Oh, it doesn't quite get the bounce in these, and it bounces over the top. That's unfortunate.
Oh my word, that would have been a quick double if he would have made that work. And another team being eliminated in front of him, even though I don't think would have mattered much in the grand scheme of things, apart from these 2 kill points. Placements are quite far, to be fair. I'm wondering now, especially with the new point system now here in play, is he going to go for a little bit more aggression here? That's what I would like to see. Maybe get a quite creative angle on towards the players down there, but you can see at the same time, there's just too many angles all around. I remember when he originally took down the first player that entered his warehouse, he was just open to the outside of the warehouse for just a tiny seconds, and he got popped down to just about 30 HP. That's how dangerous some of these angles are, even inside this warehouse if you do get spotted from the outside.
Yeah, look, I think this format will force aggression, 100%, right? So I'd expect to see it. But I think there's just too many teams outside his warehouse. He can't get that creative angle. He's burnt his last nade, and with that grenade gone, like, he has to wait for them to either push up. That'd be quite difficult for them, or more importantly, the zone to shift away. Back towards the other action, I'll be down towards a very much a nice bomb pund in the southwest corner. Conquest coming in quite late. We saw the aggression as they crossed past before. But they pretty much locked this one down. They've got bad rotation not too far away from them. We've got Winner Chicken Dinner who had the recall system, got bodies back up. They're in the south of their position, but it's all open terrain. So they want to claim this way. They've got to run or use the cars. A double crash, well, that could be quite dangerous for Conquest.
Talking about crashes and potential fights happening. Within the next zone, you can see 7 Gaming. Looking for a big round as well. They're sitting on 28 points just before this game. They haven't had a fact just yet, and they are quite far from placement points, but they are in a really, really great position to now pick up potentially 3 more frags. One inside the warehouse, and then the duel, should I rather say, due towards the east of it. And judging by how long they've been sitting in that warehouse section just north of it, they should know about this fight as well. So they're in a great spot now to clean up this northern side of things and be in a great spot for the next couple of phases.
Yeah, we were trying to hold out Slam G, though. Back to action without Doe. Breach, though, from Believe. Back into a corner. Gets one. Going to close the door. Get an opportunity now to get him there back on. Back on the other side, though. Slam G do go for the charge. We will be out in 16th place without Dope. 6 kills. So a good charge for them at the moment. They have to try and deal the damage. Belief sending more bodies forward, but with the players from without Dope on the outside edge, they're going to be able to get the read. They're going to be able to get the information. Now we can hear the footsteps coming in. Let's see if we can try and defend. The spray will come through. Doesn't quite get the connection to start.
Connection still not found yet, indeed. As believe. You're still looking for that initial opening now that they've been reduced down to 2 players. Slamgy, on the other hand, they won't stop under any and no circumstances. They will find Levante as well. Next team right on the crossroads between them. And the next phase, Frenzy! Now finally finding that player, but the Molotov does touch him. Shouldn't really matter though, his teammate's not in it anyways. Perfect play coming out from both of these guys. Believe it's had a really tough road into this phase as well, but this is the fight that really matters now. Look at this, Mogol jumps on top of the rock. Really dangerous position, especially in third person. Boostic though gets found over the left-hand side. Shots from the distance as well, and just like that, Winner Die cleaned them up. And Slam G, that will be that phase 5, no further. Out of all the teams, interesting to me that Winner Die actually is able to pick up most of these. They've rotated quite far outside of the phaser actually to be able to do this fight.
Is he going for the recall? No, he's not. I thought he was going for the recall. I had to check my map stream then. He went back for that box, and there's a recall in Resort. I thought he might get away. There's 2 more recalls up for grabs. When do I have, unfortunately, Falek's been on the receiving end of dropping bodies in without any gear, so maybe they're opting not to give up any 3 points this time, but it could have potentially have gone that way. Good play from Win or Die though. Good third party action. Now they've got a little bit of clear space. They can get a third party onto this though. Without Dope receiving a crash again. Hadouken! He's going to fall down. They are one more hold. He's trying to get his bearings though as multiple teams crashing his way.
Really good first pickup. It's not an easy frag to take right away, but he doesn't make it work. If the enemy is able to delay this just a tiny bit, get out of the car just a tiny bit, then it's quite easy to let that situation get out of hand just by one play delaying it. Not with them. Scanning does get dropped now, though. I just make it a tiny bit more dangerous for them. They need a couple more frags to really make this worthwhile. Just judging by the position they've held up until this point. It's such a good one. He peeks her out of a corner. He doesn't drop him. And unfortunately, the player around from him does get dropped by the blue zone as well. So that's potentially a frag as well, not going their way. So as of right now, it's only going to be the 7 frags that they have.
This is a big game. This is a big game for Without Dope. Like, they're sitting in 9th place at the moment, 27 points. Just put 7 on the board additional for them at the moment. They are one final player. Unfortunately, will go down towards zone. Skittles will fall 11th place. A few frags, but not much more. Everyone has the opportunity. Will or Die looking for a big game. They're pushing their way around here as well. Back to the other side of things. There's 7 game in north side of the road. Do get the initial knock, though, on Go Next Esports. Here come the Mortifier. Gronin got the green light to push on forward. He tries to have a little peekaboo. Acalyptos, though, a little bit further afield. And paid what? He's in the shack, or just on the outside. The smoke will give him the cover. And bad rotation and Go Next under barrage of Mortifier.
Yeah, it doesn't hit anything just yet, but just one tiny hit towards Acalyptos while he's still healing. Might just seal the deal. I think they're out of mortars, unfortunately. That's going to bring it back to a 3-on-2. Problem is, though, as we've seen before, they can't really push too far down the hillside. Otherwise, they will be open towards the team further behind Go Next, which is SKT, as you can see that. Now the first blue zone comes in. Takes out the first building, but I think it's just enough playing room right behind it. Good shots to Acalyptus as well, but still no knock. Instead, it's going to be Ground being taken down, just about 8 HP. I have to be careful here. If anyone drops just now, they're not in the safe zone either. This could turn out actually quite fast, and wow, Go Next is even going to be able to take down... Actually, they're going to be able to get this res. Look at this. And they've got time to heal back up as well. Go Next, they're not out of this one yet.
That is huge. That is a huge res. I do feel like the Blue Zone Nate should have been thrown first. Nate to follow. Halfway around, obviously hasn't had the impact I think they wanted. Go Next does get their res back on. Now they're charging forward. They get the spray through the smoke as he peeks up over the top though. Acalyptos though in a great position. The pressure, well, it's being done. The zone is providing a lot more as well. That's going to force him out into the open though. But it's actually bad rotation on the other side. Opted to go across the road. They were on the north side, but they've deterred round to the south. Now they can look onto this fight, try and claim any additional points they can. Go Next will be down to a 2. Now they just need to hold out because Go Next had the better position over 7G when it comes down to the blue zone.
And saying that this has turned around the way that it has right now, Rondo's going to be able to get pick back up, but it's still going to remain that 2v2. And I don't think GoNext knows that the team on the southern side, which I think it is Skittles, has rotated across already. They've used this fight, this skirmish between GoNext and 7G to their advantage. They've rotated off. Vinny now finds Grown again, but he should be trading just a matter of seconds. But the smoke barely just covers him. And Fine is now able to rotate back to his teammates. Pedros still alive as well, while Grown bleeds out in the distance there. That's one knock too many. And just like that, it's down to a 2v1.
Still got the position. Bad rotation, I said before. They've moved to the other side of the road, so they can just look onto this one, right? I'll go next. Try and wait this one out. Spray comes through. Sees him peeking around the outside of the smoke. Has the opportunity to try and hold. Though 7G run out of options, run out of life. 8th place for them. We're still not in the placement points, so don't forget. Win or die. Huge game. 10 points already. They have been chasing down the kills. This is telling us that this team wants to come in and get the victory. As Skittles have already fallen, they have the opportunity. They now just need to conquer more kills and try and take the zone. Fairy Tail, on the other hand, though, well, they've got other options as they do knock Hello I Bad. They will have the opportunity to get him rezzed, but there isn't much more space to play.
This is going to be the important fight now in Phase 7. Conquest does meet Skittles, some of the top teams in this competition so far in the finals. Going face to face. This is White. It's going to drop down to 45 by the Blues on grenade, but it's far from over. Mindset is the only teammate that's been dropped so far in this 3v3. Conquest on the other hand. You can see Endless in the distance being taken out as well. It's a quick self-trades, but I think it's a 1v1 now, potentially inside that compound. And I think the last Conquest player is just around the corner as well. He hears him inside. 22, that's one tag, but it's not enough to take him down just yet. In the meanwhile, his teammate is bleeding out. Fortunately for him, though, he's on the first knock, so he's got plenty of time. He does go for the smoke to cover the res. Question only is, does he get baited by that up there? Does he know there's even resing? Flash to the smoke. This is a perfect flash. He has to deny the res, and he does successfully. Takes down the down player as well. Macario's playing this one to perfection, and he immediately pops back up the stairs. He's back in safety, but look at this. Kiss is wide. 4 nades. That's going to be dangerous.
We need to find where to place him at the moment. Good use, though, the flash. And it's going down. That's huge. That's allowed Go Next in there, now causing win or die problems. Kisses just needs to settle down. Feels a bit jumpy at the moment. Conquest conquering this. He has seen him. Pre-fire comes through. Does get caught in the flash. Pre-fire continues to go through, but it's clean sweep though. And Conquest, we enter the placement points. And they Conquest their way in. Now into third. Win or die going to fall in 4th place. Winner with a chicken dinner. Still got 4 alive. Go Next with 2. And Conquest holding up with a Rambo solo.
The way he even tracked and traced the play despite him being completely flashed just shows how great of an individual player he is. He knew that he was going to rush into them, which is usually what you do, right? If an enemy plays flash, just, cover as much wide distance as you can, so the tracing gets as tough as possible, and he still managed to almost perfectly predict the way he was running into it. Just one more bullet would have potentially been needed, or alternatively, just a headshot. So him being full flash and still almost making it work speaks volumes, I think, about why these guys are so far up the leaderboard. Unfortunately, Conquest in this game, at least, are going to take the leading charge here. Top 3 situation. Go Next, still alive towards the northern side because of this off skirmish. They find a way in as well.
They did take that solo whole player for Conquest up in the north. I don't know. I can see a world where Go Next might win this. I know they've not got the numbers, but when I win a chicken dinner, they're in the field. They're all stacked up in pretty much next to no cover. They need to really take advantage of when they're not being scouted, when they get the opportunity to move. They've got to try and take as much of the train off as they can. If they wait late, I fear that eventually if Conquest realise that Go Next not pushing their way, because it's quite difficult, like they've got a little bit of a ridge line in, but if they play across back towards that east to that little bowl, that could be really, really painful for the guys. So just wait and see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe when I win a chicken dinner, just leave it go. And I suppose, yeah, here Go Next. They are making the push down towards the compound as well. So maybe that applies the pressure that's needed for winner chicken dinner now to kind of work their way through the field.
That's the first players trying to cross that big distance. Finn is able to find the first one. This is one of the most important frags you can potentially have, because if you go down first, or if you aren't able to deny any of them, it's only going to get tougher from that point onwards. Maybe even impossible, depending on if you get dropped. Imagine when we fall inside this compound. Just not going to happen. Just really not going to happen. But yeah, you're totally right. Looking at his backpack, it's almost empty. He's got that tier 3 vest going for him though, and his teammates might just be able to support him in time. We're about to find out.
The 3 versus 2 versus 1 now. But I want to Chicken Dinner have majority got across the fields. That's what I was worried about. Both these players, both these teams trying to hold them out, but they've able to get themselves into hard cover. That's good now. You see him swap out towards a shotgun barrel combo. That's going to be needed now. They've got to hold out. Conquest focusing, locked in on Go Next Esports. There goes the pop, goes into the middle of the field. Now the favor goes back towards Winner Chicken Dinner. What's util though? Conquest have got. He does go for a pop for a smoke. I reckon that'll be hanging out the window there, waiting for Conquest to leave.
Disastrous zone for almost all of them. Very fortunate for Winner Chicken Dinner that they do have the man advantage and they will take him down. Perfectly well placed nade, perfectly well timed nade as well. Macario just like that out of it. Now let's just go next. 2v3. They do have a little bit of a better position, arguably, but then again, because of Waifu's position, that really isn't as great as it should be. You know, you're close to the zone, but Waifu's got that really, really deep angle. They've got no nades. Just one nade, one Molotov could have been enough to potentially deny him this additional angle, but just like that, I think it's going to be really, really tough. More angles, more emergency cover, more smokes now being popped out. This is Abyss, close range with a shotgun, takes down Pydaros, and just like that, 3v1. Finn, the last player left standing, he's had such a big impact for Go Next up until this point, but is it going to be enough to beat the shotgun? I don't think so, Mark.
Nope. Jump shot. All done and dusted. Winner Chicken Dinner, though, get the blessing. They get the passing of the zone. And lucky enough for them, they can run across the field. They flew in and they cleared out. But win or die? Well, that's going to be the big talking point now for here. Game number 1. Yes, they haven't quite got the win. Yes, they got denied out. Go Next had a great push over, right? But the amount of kills that team got really is putting a word out on the street, a line in the sand that Win or Die is here to play. And if they keep that sort of momentum, Felix, maybe they might be looking to take top spot.
Yeah, we're about to find out. I think we're going to take a look at the leaderboard sometime soon. But yeah, it's interesting, right? We talked about all these top teams for so very long, and honestly, all of them have really performed. I don't want to blame it on the zone too much, but some of these teams really did have to chase this. I'm talking about Slam G, I'm talking about Win or Die. These guys were just chasing and chasing and chasing. Yes, they had good zones towards the southeastern side of things in terms of even being able to fight your way in. That's to be said, but apart from that, they really haven't been gifted just about anything. Quite in contrast to Go Next, who did have a little bit of an easier fight in or way in after that initial fight. But even they didn't have an easy way in. Even they didn't have an easy showing, an easy pathing, so to speak, in terms of the fights they've been taking. So, yeah, great consolidation for all of them. All of the teams that we've seen towards the total leaderboard bringing in the big points. But unfortunately, it's going to be one of the teams on the second page that's going to be taking home the Winner Chicken Dinner. And so it's the team named perfectly for it. They have 26 points up until this point. They've had 0 placement points as well. That's something to be said about this. 8 games, 0 placement points. You go into game 3, day 3, you take home the dinner. I mean, that's probably the best way to start it off. And there will be another contender as a result of this inside the top 6.
Well, 1 game down, 3 more to go. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to have a look at the leaderboard. But more importantly, it'll be time to Taego.
It's so exciting seeing 24 countries again. It's so different than before.
I come to another tournament of PUBG, and this tournament is very big for me.
I won't lie, it's my first time and I'm nervous.
非常的羡慕，然后很向往，所以这次能参加 PNC 还是对自己挺骄傲的。
I enjoyed playing the game with you guys and enjoyed the nice trip to Korea.
I mean, the boys thought that we didn't qualify. We all were happy because we know that we play finals.
The most memorable is probably just the people you get to meet, a lot of new faces and a lot of new people you finally get to meet face to face.
今年はちょっと、自分がオーダーをしていたんですけど、やっぱオーダー経験がちょっと浅くて、 そう味方をうまく動かせなかったっていうのが。
PNC is like an unscripted movie, and I'm very excited for next year.
Thank you guys very much for supporting us, and hopefully we'll be here again next year.
Thank you to all the fans from all different languages and cultures. I think it's wild that we have such an intersection here.
就大家辛苦了吧，就是感觉这次是个就很棒的比赛。
It's been a difficult 5 days for us, but I'm thankful to my teammates and all the fans for supporting us the whole time.
Welcome, Miramar. Well, that is the dusty storms of the past now as we'll be getting ready for Taego. But before then, we do need to have a look at the leaderboard though, because we only have 3 games left and obviously money is on the line. Skittles still holding that top spot. They still are unshifted, but Win or Die is starting to close that gap down. It's good to see Conquest taking the balls by the horns. They do drive Slam G down, but there's a little bit more of a gap for them to sort of catch up. 3 games, still opportunity. As Conquest continue to play, they are. It will look good to try and close this one out.
Yeah, interesting, especially since Skittles and Conquest literally just had that big fight towards the late game and last game. And despite Conquest just barely winning it, and you know, you would expect them to pick up a little bit more points because of that, they really didn't. It's still maybe even a bigger distance than what we've seen before that game, despite them, you know, outlasting Skittles in this game and having a great showing as well. I mean, it was a top 3 placement with a couple of frags too. So this just goes to show you, right? Skittles is that far ahead of the curve, and if they keep playing like this, it's going to be really tough. But we also said it was 28 points before this to just about anyone, and Win or Die has just reduced this to 15. Just one great game. This is how fast things can happen. And Win or Die has had a really tough game as well. This wasn't the usual Win or Die game where they just plow through the lobby. No, they had to chase zones. They had to fight a lot of teams towards the eastern and southern side of things, in especially not isolated fights. On top of that, so really, really tough fights to win, especially against teams like Slam G as well. So I'm really proud of them for doing that. And if they keep playing like this, 100% they're going to catch Skittles.
100% are going to catch Skittles. Yeah, I just feel like the consistency is good. Both them and Slam G obviously had to chase zones. Pretty difficult to do, but the telling side for me for that team was to chase things down. I do want to make a note though, winner chicken dinner. Welcome into the top side of the leaderboard. They've just with that game found themselves now in the prize pool, which I think is key. And obviously with the head-to-head stats, well, Skittles now falling down slightly. Average though for Win or Die is still working its way up. So as it stands, if they continue the way they're going to go, Skittles should work it out, and Win or Die will be unable to catch up on the average total points. But if Win or Die can dig deep, if Skittles fall a little bit short, it might be a different story come the final couple of games.
You can see even the average total points have been reduced just because of that one game. 1 out of 9. And you've closed the distance by 0.5 average points, which is kind of crazy to think about. Levante, though, we got to highlight some of these players. Levante, Boostic, they keep on giving for both of their teams. But the one player that really stands out to me the most is actually Sloy. He's been just farming. I think you guys can speak volumes about that throughout the last 2 days as well. I mean, not only 32 frags, but then look at the rest of the statistics, right? 10 assists. That's completely ridiculous. That is completely ridiculous. You look over to Levante, you think, okay, well, he might be close in terms of frags, but he really isn't in terms of assists. That's legitimately absurd. Being involved with above 40 frags of your team, 30 of them you've done yourself, above 30 actually, and then assisting 10 of the other frags that your team has done is completely ridiculous in a 9-game series up until this point. And if he keeps on playing like this, he's surely going to be my MVP.
Oh, he's going to get it. He fell down the waterfall. I'll tell you this, Felix. 3 out of 4 games, the observer is on point. The 4th game, he misses the plane every single time. That was a good one. That was a good one. I thought he made a boo-boo falling down the waterfall, but it was dramatic style of points. Good flowing path, though, is the southeast up towards the northwest, right through the heart, through the soul, but it is time to Taego. We do know this game and this map can be slightly more aggressive when it comes down to the Miramar.
Pretty fair playing path. Second time in a row. Not too much to be worried about here for most of these teams. And because of this, I'm even more excited, even more interested now with the first phase pop. Should tell us a lot about how some of these teams are rotating, how much we're going to see in phase 1, phase 2 in terms of action. In terms of some of these top teams really clashing. Because we do have these top teams, this map especially, being cramped up very close to each other. You look over at Go Next, for example. A lot of teams all around them. It might just be in danger of fighting themselves phase 1 or phase 2, depending on the circle. It's going to be a very slow start, apart from this.
I'm surprised we don't have more people going late. I was worried that we was going to sit in northwest zone. Lucky enough, it does go down towards the southeast. There's a lot of water. We have to factor that in. I think Songham will be an interesting hold for 100 ADR, especially for teams that try to rotate in on that sort of west side. You tend to curve around by that water, and there's that sort of pathing on that south side. Hospital will be clear, kind of where Twisted Minds, not Twisted Minds, because Twisted Mind Dreadrocks is win or die, where their position is right in the middle of the zone. That's not good for that team. Win or die need to get points. And that normally means they need to chase things down. They need to play the outside edge. If Dreadrocks remains there, the team collapsing on him for win or die, that'll be difficult because they won't have the bodies being fed to them that they need to close that gap down from Skittles.
Yeah, it's a tough zone for a variety of reasons. One of which is that most of the centralized spots, they're taken quite early, as you can see right here. This is why you want to take them quite early. If they're taken, there's very positions to play all around them. You've majority of it is just forest area with very few tips as well. Very few tips you can just send into, know they're free, or just positions to survive in. And if you look all around it, whether you realistically play, there's only so many spots you can retake, and this is why some of these really early rotates, maybe just grab a weapon and go kind of rotate in phase 1, are going to happen more than what we're just seeing right here between Go Next and Win or Die. These are the first two. I expect more to come, especially from the southern and western side. So yeah, grabbing early spots is going to be important in this one. Get a late one, you might just hope for it to shift outside of the center.
We'll remind everyone that happened yesterday. Win or Die did that exactly. They grabbed the guns and they crashed into Buck Sang just to get the 2 points. They then destroyed the chips and left. So we know this map, they can have a level of aggression that we don't normally see. However, on the other hand, just using the ridgeline well, they have a look over towards their west, towards bad rotation. This is quite far. Remember, this is in the northwest corner. Catches him going towards the vehicle. Take the shots. He gets in. There you go. Oh my God, he doesn't quite get the connection to start with. That might be enough for him to get away, Felix.
Oh no, that did not just happen.
Chase him down.
Oh, that did not just happen. Oh no. He was too busy just spraying the bullets out there. He was too busy showing us his gun skill that he missed the very first shot, but it's happened to all of us. That's really real about this. Well, that's got to sting. That's got to sting. And they're not going to chase this any further, I don't think. I don't think it's going to be worth it timing-wise. You don't even have vision on him, and he's gone past the ridgeline already. So really tough. Yeah, great job. Great job. That's exactly what Rox wants to see when he looks back at the stream. Thanks, production. Oh, he seat swapped the very last second. That's why.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind, Rox. But even so, you still
he
got
lined the
headshot.
passenger seat up, didn't he? He lined the passenger seat up, and he thought he already shifted into that. That's why.
You still got hit, though. Let's be honest. You kind of still do. It happens to the best of us. You still got to hit those, though. Unfortunate situation. Luckily, it's happened in phase 1. Not too much of an impact. Oh no! Oh, this is disastrous. Fairy Tale picks up a third one just like that as well. Anix gets the third one. And yeah, this is just perfect. This is what the Panzer Faust was made for. You get breached by 2 players just like that. Both immediately been taken down. April playing this one very patiently as well. I'm surprised they didn't see him looking across the wall when they originally breached, but they just really haven't paid enough attention. But April, yeah, great positioning, great shot as well, great timing. It looks easier than it is.
Thing is as well, they can put all the blue chips in those cars and destroy that car as well. So unfortunately for beer fellas, it's not looking strong. It's a solo Ranger out, but really, really well played though from Fairy Tail. Great Panzer, great execution, and the discipline to try and hold that push as well, which was really good as well. Back towards Hive though, back on that sort of north side, they've got a long rotation, might be looking for an emergency pickup. Schengen might just bust out a few dance moves. Maybe, no, maybe not. I was in a different place than he was. He gets back in his car, and he's opted in now to start rotating. Still a few teams still on the outside, and Hive are about to clash paths with Belief by Young Chung. He will be looking over that bridge. Got a lot more teams. Well, they found their position inside zone now. There's a lot of compounds been locked down.
Couple of shots from Conquest as well, making sure everyone knows he's in this compound. Making sure he doesn't get breached in phase 1. Same situation, same story that we've seen from Unodai in phase 1, you know, grabbing some of these top spots really early. Which, once again, does make sense in this specific phase. One team that's really quite far from it is Hive. Let's see right here, Presenti. Arguably the most experienced player on their roster. Does make sure that the eastern bridge is clear to cross. And should be as well.
Should be as well. Not taking the glider. It's going to give him a lot of information, especially as they will scout their way through. Sang has been taken by Go Next Esports, but they do work their way around the outside edge. Just take that compound towards that south side. So a good play from them. Man negative. Just going to maybe position that car. Maybe go back for that 2-2 split. We on the other hand, crossing paths, drifting their way down. They have lost one. And not easy drive on the side of a mountain with only 3 wheels.
Oh, this might be dangerous. Woo picks her out the corner, gets the headshot, looks for the last one. Does find it, mindset. It's shot to the floor. And now the cavalry should arrive sometime soon. Ooh, he sees him crossing the street. What? 3 hits. Not enough for the knock though. Dizzy unfortunately can't spot him through the smoke, and that might just be a nade coming back right at him in a tiny second. Oh, it explodes just behind the tractor, just below it. Somehow it doesn't touch Dizzy. Somehow Dizzy's still alive. This one touches him though, kisses wide, but not before he's taken down to just about 20 HP as well. And a flash comes through too. And look at this, they really want to commit to this. Wouldn't want to take this 2v3. Hype needs to hit this one. He does as well. He spots the next one. But he's being spotted out as well. And this just comes in really awkward fight now. He needs to dance around the corner. He dances perfectly. Oh, he's a perfect dancer at that. He does finally get traded, and I think he's outside the wall as well. She should be flush, but Vlad is there to trade the rest of them. But not before his teammate is surely going to fall. You can see WWCD. Their angles are just a tiny bit too great, and I'm surprised they didn't breach this more so than Weewo did. But if you look at the map, you might find the reason for it. He's all alone.
He's all alone. He came looking for some kills. He's got the taste of victory, though, from game number 1. Good play. Very dancing the edge when it comes down to that crash, but they do eventually clear it out. They lose 1, but have the opportunity now just to get the chips, maybe go down towards Sunga, maybe go back towards school and get those recalls. Do it quite early. Face number 1, you'll get away with that. Be able to get back yourself back to a 4, and arguably there's a lot of hard cover. Even if you go to one of the main cities, that's an option just to find yourself some loot. 7G, on the other hand, though, trying to connect some shots with Belief, taking more damage than what it's worth. They are very much on the other side of the zone, though, so lots of space. Still watching that water on the south. It does be worry. The first couple of zones are quite random, so if it does play down towards that south again, Songham will be an interesting area. And Slamgy have already taken it. Back towards the figure things, though. Let's lock. They have moved in ahead of Go Next Esports. And the glider, I think, has been a real key piece to that puzzle. It has been gaining the information. I was looking for that confirmation. Great confirmation from the sky. And Hiru, well, now looking for his next victim below.
And oh
my God, he's 1 HP.
These are some great shots. Oh, he might just get knocked by. Can he stick the landing?
No, you crash and land. Just don't get out of the vehicle. It won't explode. Just don't get out. That's what people make the mistake. They jump out and get hit by the vehicle.
He sticks the landing dot. He sticks the landing dot. So no worries there. But still, that's crazy. That's great. Good shots right back at him. after he flushed it out of the glider. But it's far from over. His teammate get flushed in the meanwhile. So they return the favor. Will be 3-on-3. However, they do have the Panzerfaust, and I think they just about spotted him. He can stick the landing on the Panzerfaust, though, but it doesn't matter. Quintix flies Pederos. Drops down, and Max also gets found. Quintix with a quick double. This is great. Now it's just one player left standing. There's Acalyptus. And his position is known as well, I believe.
So shift goes back towards that north to northwest. And for Go Next Esports, they need a big day, and Lock are denying opportunities here. 7G coming for the third party, I believe doing the same. So multiple teams now getting involved. Seeing the glider fall from the skies. Okay, so, well, he's just going to wrap his way in. The gunshots have gone quiet now. He has seen Salik. Now he wants to make the jump on the outside. He has made the jump on the outside. He sees one. He transfers over to the second. Now his buddy gets to confirm on the first. Here, drive his way in. Lock thinking they're in control. But again, they've not locked it down. And 7 Gaming comes steamrolling in.
Regis Carzo taking one fight, taking a second one, winning all of them so far. Well, this one might just be a bit too much. Has to wait for his teammates. While Groan is looking for one as well. Quintix with another double. Oh, my words. And he's had a nade cooked as well, Kazoo. So they will immediately be flushed. That is an absurd round. Quintix with a quick 4K just about in the last 2 minutes. That's insane. He does carry his teammates quite a bit. And the last player being spotted out there as well. I'm not sure what happened there, but 7 Gaming trying to make the third party work, and we'll find their demise instead. That is absurd. What a nate.
Great play. Great third party. All clean. But that zone shift, forcing everyone to rotate past. Well, why wouldn't you take a bite at this one? I believe they backed away from it slightly. They look to the outer edges as Without Dope just came cruising on through. Played out 7G. Conquest will roll into Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail on a big split here. If Conquest get an idea when they receive the first knock, they've got to be careful. Quick flush will happen. They've got to isolate this one. It's 2-2. But they've got to take full advantage. They're going for the mortar. That is tight. Possible. But he might be putting it back in the car for later.
Interesting position they're playing. I'll be honest, I haven't really seen this position be played in Phase 2 all that much. But, I don't think it's based off of... I don't think they're playing this one voluntarily is what I'm trying to say. But I think the way Fairy Tail is playing this one right now with the 2-2 split, and the way they're committing to that 2-2 split as well, it might just work out pretty well. Mortar gets set up nicely. Let's see if Makero can hit something.
Need more than that.
The very least know about them.
They know. They will know. They'll be looking up. Yeah, it's too close.
Ooh.
Too close.
Oh, okay.
Needs to dial it right back. What Rim doesn't get what it needs. Doesn't get a quick kill confirmed. Fairy Tail still haven't collapsed in. Confident on their hold. Conquest, again, a team that needs big games. That's going to become more and more critical the further we go into this.
Wow.
And, oh my god. Toy Jacket, though. Puts Fairy Tail down. The tree provides a bit more cover. He's going to try and get the tire. Does get the tire on one. It's going to deny him the opportunity to scalable back to the trees. I don't know. Tippy toes are there. He's getting a bit of a pedicure. But that's about it. So Jacket, well, all he can do now is deny the opportunity, let's say, for them to scrabble back to the rest of their team. They're going to have to fight this one out. There was a 2 there. Maybe pop a couple of smokes and use the train to their advantage.
They've gotten the revive now. And just take a look at Skittles as well again. Like, look at the position they're playing. 2v1, 2-1-1 arguably. 2-2, could argue as well. On the northwestern side of things. They've got no one rotating into the northwestern side either anymore. They obviously don't know this. They might actually. But we know for certain. And that makes this position such a strong position once again for Skittles. Just perfect positioning up until this point. They have so much maneuverability. They should have all of their cars as well. So if they would have picked up another frag here as well, that would have just been the icing on the cake. But they're sitting really comfortable right now in some really, really safe spots with lots of information. Not only towards the southern side, but towards the north and northwestern side of things as well. So I'm expecting great things again from Skittles here.
And the zone goes their way. Does come to that hill we spoke about out by Bucksang on the southwest corner of it as well. So lots of action inside Bucksang. Hive have joined the entry on that north. Without Dope looking on towards Locke, who has gone for the recall system. It's phase 3, so it does tickle a little bit, but he's already got the chips in, so I'd be waiting for them now to come back. There is 53 seconds left on the clock for that one.
Wow.
But there's not that amount of time. Opium Sat Kid. That nade is good. Now he's going to go look for that confirmation. 100 ADR. Unable to keep bodies up in this event.
I find player as well from Believe. 100 ADR. Chiming into the mix as well. Weewoo. Didn't even know if one of them was still standing. That must have been the last player, maybe the second to last player. Being dropped as well. Vlad apparently still not the last one. Now we have it. Apparently they've gotten 2 players back up.
Yeah.
After that fight. That's crazy. That's insane actually that we were still standing strong like that. And they will actually find a couple frags here based off of this really just dangerous edge fight too. As Hype is now being found, spotted out as well. He was the one together with Vlad that really make the big work happen. Now it's just opaque. Rotating off into the distance, trying to find some kind of positioning. As we do have the next phase as well. This is Fairy Tail grouping up. The very centralized, most centralized compound. As they're apparently hoping for a comeback too.
Look at everyone that's on the recall going for Bucksang. They have no idea. One, they know it's out, but the amount of teams that are just there, they are just going to be cannon fodder, unfortunately. So multiple teams, or multiple players, shall I say, is not going to have any loot under their belts. 100 ADR. 2 players remain. 2 kills confirmed for them so far. Looking to try and get Weaver. Nate does come out. Pretty good connection as well. Goes down to half HP. Looking for the second one. Hicks does get the second one off, but he has moved away. Fakes with the car, but the shots are just better. Hicks will put him down. And Weewu, well, they'll fall to the bottom of the sea with the treasure chest.
And that's exactly what I was talking about very early on. Phase 1, Phase 2, you can see a lot of skirmishes all around. But also a lot of players have already been dropped. There's so few positions you can really play as soon as someone has gotten some kind of elevation, some kind of hard cover position already, and there's very few of them. So if you make it in too late and you lose some of these fights, which you most likely will already take at a disadvantage, you're just not going to make it in Phase 4, Phase 5. And this is what we're seeing right here. A lot of casualties for Phase 4, just based off of the way that current zone really is. Fairy Tail, pretty much the only team with hard cover as well in this one. I mean, there's arguably a little bit left in the southeastern side, which is win or die's position right now. But they're not really using it anyways right now, because they've already been able to keep everyone out of this one. The southern side is entirely clear. The eastern side is entirely clear. The western side is pretty much clear, except for Solo. So, goes to show you once more, very few positions to be played, and you have to fight early.
Everyone's collapsing on this fight here. Without Dope trying to play on the back of the Hive push towards Skittles. Hadouken, he's down. He's not confirmed just yet. Presenti wants to get back in the car. They are claiming the hill. Maybe trying to get ahead of the team from Skittles. Dante is right on top of the body here. Duke can be able to get the information over. As it stands, can't see the recall coming back. Not just yet. Anyway, for them, more bodies. You can see them being recalled back as well. Let's go next. Esports get back numbers, but where, oh, where are they even going to get some loot from?
Yeah, that's going to be the tough question, isn't it? Dope now trying to sneak their way in towards the eastern side. This is going to be one of the most important fights they will have. Maybe even the most important fight. This might as well decide on how far they will go in this round. It gets cooked. Doesn't see the play all the way. It's still a pretty good one. Might just take him down. 65 HP. He drops down. He does take him, but he gets traded almost instantaneously. And what I don't quite understand is the rest of his teammates didn't even make a move in the first place. So he was pretty much just holding his lonesome right there. Weirdly enough. And I think, by the way, the ridge lines are working, the sidelines are working against them here. They might not even be able to close the distance. I mean, they need to invest so much time to even get close. They've already gotten the rest of the meanwhile.
He gets a huge nade, though. That's going to underpin Hive. That's going to give the opportunity now to Skittles. That third party alone deletes, gets rid of Hive. Fortunately, Beerfellas also go from that east, but that soul move, that gives a huge green light from the rainbow of Skittles. They come charging over. They come charging to try and get some more kills without Dope. Now on a whopping 9. We still got 7 teams left. Pretty does see those pretty little flash shots coming from the other side. Go next, though, in the air above this. He actually does get down to the ground. Now, if he picks up some gear in that northwest corner, he could be dangerous, but Hakamari's coming back his way. I don't know if he has any idea that he's had a parachuter fall right on top of him.
I don't think so.
He does now.
Hakamari. And then we will opens it up against Go Next, which is the fight that we've been waiting for some time. This is the first fight as well that Skittles has had. Just to give you guys an overview again. Like, Skittles has been sitting, and I've highlighted that position before, on a prime position. They had this 2-1-1 split, arguably, maybe even a 2-2 split if you really want to be getting really into detail about it. And they've just been able to keep everyone out on the northwestern side of things. This is the very first time they've had, and they're immediately rotating back away from this just now to prioritize position yet again. And they know they've got the potential now to finish off this round, just don't give it away in stupid fights. And they're not doing that. They're actually playing it really, really smart, pulling back just a tiny bit, getting the knock, not even going for the flash here, prioritizing. Or they could really play with this one, and this is the position they found so far. They're not in quite yet. Do they actually realize they're being sneaked upon here? Dope apparently doesn't have any other position to play either. And this is oh my god, this is going to be disastrous. First player gets dropped. Slide Jacket has to turn around. He's got a little bit of cover behind the car, but is it going to be enough? I don't think so. Gets spotted out almost immediately. Nade rolls all the way back. Scannon has to dodge away from the tree. Does get spotted out because of that.
Oh,
but he's
wow.
not being dropped just yet. Of course it's Sloy. Now he is. And they might have just missed that big opportunity of taking out Skittles once and for all in this round. They couldn't make it happen. Sloy drops another one. This is disastrous. It looked so good. But look how things have turned around. One nade just wasn't enough.
Yeah, they've got to stick that res pretty quickly, get in the car and get going. Try and get the way in. Sloy has been critical here. Goes full send, but Fairy Tale deny. Skittles again shake the bag and find the sweets. They still survive. They're down to a 3. They've got so much more space now. Fairy Tale uncontended in the hard cover here. Win or Die looking for Max. They know death from above the solo. Slam G also have had a recall. So they've got bodies back. It's going to come down to some of these solos. If they have an impact that we've been waiting for, Skittles seem to have 9 lives though.
Really does seem that way, doesn't it? And there they are, still standing as well. Which is about 2 lives. And find themselves 4 frag 2. Everyone is getting dangerously close towards these big placement points that everyone keeps chasing. The ones that are so much tougher now with this new system. 15 players left standing now. And once again, Skittles in a really good spot. But the one team that we do have to highlight, on top of everyone else, is Fairy Tale. They didn't have to move an inch so far. They've secured this compound inside the deep center with really great elevation in phase, maybe even 1. Was it even phase 1? They might have actually secured this in phase 1 or phase 2.
Good night.
And they've been sitting there ever since. Great nade actually, Loris opens it up.
Here we go. Let's see how many more lives Skittles have got. Slow goes down where he gets taken out by his own nade, if that's the way to go. That's the way you've got to do it, though. Slam G will know Skittles over this side, so they'll be eager to try and push forward, close the gap down. There goes more util, more dumps, though. Ixto has to use the smoke behind him just to stay alive. The P90 will sprays past. It might even force him into the danger zone. It's going to be for Skittles. He's going to get a blessing. Has to go around the outside. It's Hakamari, though, will finish things up. 180R will fall just short of the placement points, but we are in the top 4. And Fairy Tale and Win or Die still have a full house.
Lorix should know by now. He's confused as well. Where's this last player that he's somewhere inside the blue zone? Pushes around.
Oh my
he gets
god.
Dropped. Hakamari takes him down. Headshot to flash it to make it even worse. And now he finally gets taken out by the blue zone. That's the smartest decision on his part as well. As they are still leading the challenge in terms of points. He surely doesn't want to give it away to Slam G out of all the teams. One of the runner-up teams, as we saw on the leaderboard just a moment ago. And Hakamari somehow couldn't really get into a safer spot just before that, but he still wins it. That's the crazy part, he still wins it. Win or Die now, the second big contender for this round. Fairy Tale arguably with a lot less action so far. Might just be at a tiny disadvantage. Hasn't really gone to the flow of things.
Yeah, I'm bamboozled, mate. Utterly bamboozled. How do Skills have so many lives? Lucky enough, he goes down towards the zone. Slam Gina unable to claim the points. Down to a solo now. How many kills they got? They got a handful of kills. Skills. I don't know if they're on the final player, but they've been fed a few. Sloy, I think, has been the big impact. There's a full donut zone to sort of centralise that. We've got 4 versus 4 versus 1 versus 1. The 2 solos in that northwest corner. Arctic, as you can see, has come back on that recall system, but I'll have to wait and see. I think 6 kills on the board, being told. So, not a bad game from Skittles, from actually quite a quiet area there, FedEx. They've scrabbled their way through now into placement. So they've got 6 kills plus 1 more. If they go out now, if every other team that now goes out is going to be an additional 2. Win or die needs to be looking at the clock going, hold on, Skittles got more than us at the moment. We need to, 1, finish off higher, but we need to get more kills underneath our score.
Yeah. And be reminded, it's only 2 more maps after this one. So only 12 maps will be played. There are a few chances to kind of, if you don't make it work right now, there are a few chances to put it up in one of the remaining rounds. 2 to be exact. So I really do want to make it happen now. Now or never, so to speak. Fairy Tail has had all the time in the world to really put themselves up into, or put themselves into essentially the best spot you could potentially start this late game. You can see folded shields on top of the houses even to cover some of these really ugly angles you have inside this compound. But I suspect they won't even need it. I suspect they won't even need it. Like, just looking at the angles they have, it's just too great of a position to really give it away. No matter how many shields you have or utility you have, there's just too many great angles. You can see they're able to do even stuff like this, which goes to show you how much the control they have. Blue zone grenade all the way. Conf is going to be able to finish him. And they found 8 frags so far, just because of how good that position is. That's ridiculous. Fairy Tail really is making a comeback. And it was one of the big story points we talked about at the beginning of the day. How can they be that far down? They've been sitting on 17 points. They're going to make more than what they've gotten in the last 2 days combined in just this one single game.
Yeah, it's crazy. Especially, I think I said a household name that we know, right? I've been fighting on the top. Conf does find him, doesn't need to wait for the nade, so our 2 solos will fall. 7 points, 9-4. Actually, we're going to be finished up with skill, so just shy of triple digits. 2 more games to go, so expect him to go up and over unless they have an outstanding shocker. But the survivability we've seen so far from skills, especially this game, it has been pretty good. Fairy Tail head to head against Win or Die. Win or Die doing well last game, got controlled out by the zone. See if they can control this one out. I definitely feel like you're right, though, Felix. I think Fairy Tail had the better positioning. I just feel like Win or Die are more hungry.
They might just be a little bit more hungry, and if they hit shots like this, it might be a lot more difficult for Fairy Tail to really finish it off. This still, despite that first knock, should go Fairy Tail as well. Wait, let's be honest about this. Just got to be careful of making the angles work. Couple of really great nades against Fairy Tail. This is what they need to do. Isolate this one player. Is he going to get touched by the blue zone? Doesn't even matter. Levante. What kind of nade is that? That's ridiculous. Pops it behind the rock from down low. Higher elevation. That's a ridiculously tough nade to hit. And in the meanwhile, they're using this time anyways to get that third player back up. On Fairy Tail's side, Winner Die still has to be careful. They're meeting 2 players. It's a quick strike. Levante does find Enix though. This is as much as he needed. It might be enough. It really might just be enough to deny Brightside the angle he has as well and get that really needed space and cross the distance, close the distance especially towards that big compound area that we've been seeing so very long being controlled of Fairy Tail.
Just the trees, it's not helping him. Brightside got some elevation, does find one, but they can isolate the fights. Here goes the blue zone. They're going to try and capitalize on that knock. Second one will go. Sees the body now rolling its way back up. Still rocking in TPP at the moment as he is swapping back towards the orb. Goes for the jump. Knows the stairs have been blocked. Third will go out. That's all the blue zone nades out for him, as he will follow up with a nade, try and cook, try and finish the meal that he has been underway. And my bad though, does get Brightside, comes up on the other side. Quick kill confirmed for them. It's a 2 versus 2. Scrap that 2 versus 1 as he's on the top. He's got the Famas though, looking for the confirmation. NEX999 though does get the confirm, does keep it to a 3 versus 1. But hell my bad does take the high ground, but the zone leaves him alone.
Wow, he does make it inside that lower story. But look at this, Hello My Bad realizes he needs to take that 1v1 right away. The last player from Fairy Tail is somewhere in the distance. So this is his best shot at isolating one of them. And he's down to 32 HP as well. But Enix plays around. Peekaboo, can you really find me? No, you can't. I've already made it back up the stairs. And just like this, it's going to get all the more tougher for him to really isolate anyone. He's got that little bit of a short-off shotgun though. And look at this, the gas can as well to deny. Some player coming in. What a performance, and it doesn't even matter. Enix runs him down to be exact, and Fairy Tail will make it work. 13 frags. It was their game to lose, and they didn't disappoint.
13 frags, though, really well played. Might be a story rags to riches. It might be a Fairy Tail ending. Are they going to get the top? Are they going to get a first place? Most probably not. But for Fairy Tail, they have the drive maybe to find themselves in a top 8 position, and if they do that, that means they will be looking to find some cash money. There from the first phase, they're going to be happy. Fairy Tail close out game number 2.
Actually, just a game of insanely many individual performances. Yeah. Just from start to finish. We saw Hype dancing around the corner, getting a quick 2k. We will... by the way, Dizzy I don't think Dizzy bled out here. I don't think, despite him being down to just about 0 HP here on the knockout, I don't think he actually bled out all the way. I'm pretty sure they remained this game as 3 up until the point where they met, I think, Slam G or someone else on the corner. So ridiculously well-timed pushing that as well. And this is the one thing where I said this game could have gone a little bit differently. If he hits that nade, if he hits that double spray down, which he kind of should have, Skillers wouldn't have done as much damage to the surrounding teams, and maybe then we would have had a different ending, but be that as it may. Fairy Tail wasn't the driving seat from start to finish. It looked a little bit shaky there when some of the players did get found, and Levante hit that one crazy nade on top of the rock, like this one. Come on, that's ridiculous. But if you hit nades like that, you're going to make it interesting, right?
I do like the push at the end from one of the They try and take advantage of those knocks, so good play from them. How am I bad doing the right thing? Obviously trying to drive to the end. We tried to drive for the victory, but from the blue, rags to riches, winner chicken dinner. Fairy Tail 13 kills. That is a big game for them. Well, it might be a big game for game number 2. We're going to go to a break though. When we come back though, it is going to be Rondo as our final 2 rounds. Well, that's all we got left.
To the PUBG Players Tour. This year, we're introducing structured competitive play in third-person perspective mode for players of all ranks, levels, and ability. Here's how it works in EMEA and Americas. PUBG Players Tour competition is held in 2-week phases. Each week, you and your squad can compete in player scrims. Think of these as a great alternative to ranked play. Each day of scrims will feature a variety of maps, with defined team and lobby sizes to ensure a balanced best-of-3 rounds. Teams will earn points based on their performance, and daily leaderboards will track their progress. When the scrims are over, the top teams will qualify for the PUBG Players Tour Cups, where they will be joined by up to 10 invited teams, featuring some of the best players in the region. Players' Cup leaderboards will track team performances across 2 days of play, with the top 8 squads progressing to the final round of competition. Players Masters are the pinnacle of the PUBG Players Tournament. 8 teams from each of the 2 cups will engage in fierce competition for a huge prize pool in each region across the PUBG Players Tour season. And for times when a Players Masters isn't scheduled, you can still get your PUBG Players Tour fix with Super Cups. These work just like Masters events, where again, 16 teams, 8 from each of the 2 previous Players Cups, compete for a share of the total cash prize pool. Welcome to the PUBG Players Tour. You know the game. Be a player.
2 games down. 2 games are dusted. Taego has always been a very aggressive. I felt Skills had like 9 lives though. They had a bit of freedom and movement, but uncontended, refused to go down. Even out in the blue, Alex, they were still fighting and getting knocks.
Yeah, good fighting on top of that as well. And good knocks and good fighting from almost any of the teams. I gotta be honest, that was an insanely nice round to watch, just from a fighting perspective alone. And that despite the zone, let's be honest, not being the fairest of them all, especially not from what we've seen today. We've had 2 very, very fair, especially one very fair game in the beginning on Miramar, where almost everything was able to, first of all, be taken by foot from phase 2 onwards, and the playing path in the zone was really just nice to everyone. And then this game as a contrast being the complete opposite, right? Early positions being ultimately the most important factor. We saw this from Fairy Tail, for example, sitting in the compound for 6 phases and winning it, despite them almost throwing it away. And as a result of that, you can see them making big moves on the leaderboard as well. Second good game in a row. We said Fairy Tail was going to make moves. That they really made this that fast, still a surprise to me though. 37 points, close to the top 8 as well.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? It's Fairy Tail. Jeez Louise, that's a jump, mate. 15th to 9th. Now they're closing down Winner Winner Chicken Dinner, who've had a good day today. So I like this little battle here. This kind of 7th, 8th, and 9th. What I fear is we've not seen a lot from Hive today, really. Not as we'd expect to see from them. So if this sort of trio keeps duking it out, it could be quite dangerous. Don't forget, though, we are a top 8th for prize pool. So Fairy Tail, a name which we expect to be in that prize pool. But there's something else we need to be ready to get into. That is the next game, though. Get out your condo. It's time to Rondo. Match number 11, though, with a southwest up towards the north, though. We're going to catch the plane. He's already seen it. He's going to start it out. Don't forget, he's got one more game to mess it up, the Observer. Oh, he's gone full commit now. He's gone full commit. Is he going to miss the plane?
Beautiful.
No, he's got it. He's got it. Give him He's been practicing. He's on work experience, Felix. That's why. All right.
That is beautiful indeed. Very fair playing path once more. Don't expect so many fights on this map, either in the very first couple phases. As it usually is on a day 3. Not necessarily towards the later games of a day 3, but at least towards the beginning of it. Once again, for everyone just tuning in, be reminded, this is the last 2 matches that you're about to see inside these final games, inside this final that's been going on from Friday to Sunday. And we will have plenty of cash prizes to be given to some of these top teams in this lobby. At the moment, it seems to be Skittles that will take the main prize. The one spot, the surprise factor so far in the finals. The best team by far. But there are some teams creeping up with it. Win or Die, for example. The one team that I've said at the beginning of the day has to be the team to watch. The team most likely to creep up. And they've held true so far.
They have held true so far. Well, that's what happens when you... This is the penultimate game of the day. Bad rotation. Taking the fight here with Lock. Both these teams out of the money at the moment. But don't forget, with the recall system, Felix, it's not about winning now and keeping 4 up. It's just about winning the fight. So why not take an early aggression? Shouting is up for grabs here. 4 versus 4. Locking it in against bad rotation.
Oof. That's a nasty angle. Everyone's got to be careful. Can't really make any other move now as well. Let's find something on top of that building. If he wants to heal back up, and a lot of support as well coming in from any of his teammates. A lot of support possible even. As the first nades are raining in as well. Kisses White is now going to return to looting. That might just give him a little bit of breathing room, but you can see he is on top of that building still. And as soon as he tries to run down the stairs, he's going to get spotted out.
Difficult building to fight from. So you can't really go room to room without being spotted, right? So you have to kind of cross that path in. That's going to give information away. Interesting to see. This is in FPP, not TPP. So he's playing below, but he's playing in first person. Whereas at the moment he's playing in third, as you can see from the camera angle. It's not a spectator thing. It's actually, that's what I like about this. It actually shows us. As you can see now, he's swapped to FPP as well. So trying to take the head-to-head fight. You can hear the steps. He's trying to work out there where the other angles are. He knows he's potentially a sandwich filler between 2 of the bad rotations. They're now trying to stack up and go. They can isolate to one side. Quinix Has to duck into cover. He's waiting for the opportunity. He can breach his way in. He sees him. He swings out, but he doesn't score. Kisses White gets the better of him.
Really great performance coming out from Kisses White yet again. That's a really, really solid peek as well. That's not an easy fight to win. If you do White peek into that room, the way he's been doing. And he's going to find one of the biggest fraggers of that team as well. Quintix has been the deciding factor. If you remember last round, on plenty of these fights, getting quick 2 doubles in a matter of 2 minutes to solidify his position, or rather his team's position inside of that city that we saw just last game. Unfortunately, couldn't do it again. This one is going to be a tiny bit too much. Still, though, both teams with the casualty up until this point. Both teams a little bit of trouble here. Might come to regret this hot job once and for all. Next frag happening. This one is a little bit more impactful one as Sly Jacket is going to fall.
Oh my God, he took to the dirt and he stayed alive. Mad Nicative from the heavens provided the cover. Hero hasn't got helmets. He has to be so careful. He knows that mindset is there. Now he'd rather take him wrapping around, take the head-to-head battle. He's taking shots again from the heavens, so I look looking to try and pop the smoke. Oh my God, from the heavens he gets him.
Really great shot. I think he knows who the last player is. He looks at him. Oh yeah, the first couple of shots are coming in already. He's simply fast. Let's have a chance at picking up his teammate again. To be fair with the blue chips now, that's the great thing about the revive system. Usually you'd have a lot more time with this one. That's the gas can being thrown over and exploded as well. It's a smart play. Not going to matter too much though. A couple steps back and he's already to safety. But yeah, these are some really, really tough shots as well. This is what I hate about hard dropping myself. These are the types of fights I keep on losing. Just really, really tough to get the angle right, especially if you don't have the optics. Someone has a red dot on the other side and suddenly it's such a big disadvantage. And actually he's going to try to dodge it as well. I'm not sure the enemy player has spotted that. And he's going to go for the res. I think he's going to get it as well. I don't think Sayuv knows about this. I think he realizes something's up now, but it might just be too late.
Trying to figure out where he can. Now he's going to be able to hear the sound cues of 2 sets of feet scrabbling around below him. Just going to double check and make sure he's not on that roof. As he gets a little bit of reload. The barrel, well, we know it's going to pack a punch close. I'd rather the ace myself, but barrel seems to be the weapon of choice. Now, going back for a little look on the roof. Takes opportunity just to move. First steps going to be further away from lock. He can find himself hiding in the city. And don't forget, it's not always about winning the fight. Right? With 4 bodies up, as I said before, as long as you win, you can get those blue chips and you can get the recall back. Bad rotation. No, it's a 2 versus 1 now. I think he's doing the right thing. He's disengaging. He might be lucky enough to come back and get those blue chips of his own. But we'll have to wait and see. Phase number 1 is on its way in, and the teams are moving on out.
Ooh, this might be trouble for Fairy Tale. They do get spotted out on that rotation, though. I'm surprised 180 yard doesn't get more than what they've been getting so far. Brightside, he just wanted to support, but he gets shot down almost immediately. Oh, that is disastrous. That should not have happened. Brightside, you stop a little bit further behind that ridgeline. You're completely fine. You're completely safe. Overcommits just a tiny bit. I think he was a little bit more, was expecting a little bit more support from his teammates too, but that didn't happen either. Fairy Tale, man, they're coming off the highest of highs. Just a great game all around. 13 frags. Well, you will commit just once the next game, and it falls out of your hands again. Be reminded, they haven't even breached into that top 8 just yet. They would have needed another great game to have a chance at prize money, and this one should have been it.
Yeah, Fairy Tale. Need good back-to-backs, right? Leaving it to the last game. Oh, that's spicy, especially with 180 AR. A team looking to climb the leaderboard as well. A team chasing down Fairy Tale, so they're not going to take their foot off the gas when it comes down to the push. Wee Woo, on the other hand, well, they're trying to take on the beer fellas. They are in front of them. Get the res. Get the opportunity now just to back away slightly. Where is it? Great player. Looking for the tie-up. Gets the spray. Doesn't get the connection.
And Wee Woo does. I was about to say doesn't make it into the distance, but he doesn't really. And
oh my
okay, God. You peek it like that? That's okay. Yeah, you've got confidence. Never mind, I'll give you that. That's ridiculous peak just off the back of that. And Vlad actually pulls up on him and does find him, does take him down as well. Beerfellas in a big trouble. They've been having trouble throughout the last 2 days as well. They really do need that one big confidence game that they've been looking for. And I like that they've been going a little bit more aggressive in phase one, but being shut down just like this from the one team essentially that's below you in the leaderboard that's just started playing today. I mean, they've had 12 points, just 2 placing points and 10 kill points starting today. And now they surprise us like this. This is gotta be surprising to Beerfellas too.
This is really mad. I just looked at the map feed. This is insane, right? When we have a southwest shift, we have a lot of unplayable. But the positioning for these teams, a lot of people are not playing center. A lot of people are playing the outside edge because they want the fights like this. Uding, I was about to say, he's got stacked up. Winner Winner Chicken Dinner is here. We do have Win or Die, but we also have Skittles. You can see him on the other side of here. Oh my god, the nade comes in. Levante finds one, they find two, and it looks like Winner Winner Chicken Dinner. Yes, they got the first game, but they get denied here in the third. Match number 11, the penultimate game. They're back in the lobby waiting.
Beerfellas, though, continues that fight as well. Dizzy wanted to just drive through. I'm not sure what that was all about, but his teammate support just wasn't there in time. Hype, though, brings it back. Has found himself that really, really great position on top of it, but Defty, oh, this is a great shot. Takes him down, turns around, takes down his teammate as well. Vlad crumbles with that quick turnaround. And they have indeed almost turned that situation around entirely. It's just one player left standing now, but as I say that, one team pulling out, and that's Conquest, and they want to get, I think, the rest of that fight. What is remaining from that little skirmish? It is still 3 players left standing, as you can see. Whether or not they're going to pull up, we're going to find in the next couple seconds, as phase 2 has indeed popped. And it's, yeah, it has popped. It has popped very far away from them. It's a hard north shift. It's going to create a whole lot more trouble for most of these teams. For one team, however, this one's quite a comfortable one. It is Skittles.
It's mental. We've lost 19 players already. This is insane. This is insane. It has shifted back towards that north to northeast. We have gone back to Jiao Ting. So the hot drop, though, from the boys from Lock versus Bad Rotation. They will be happy. Some of these teams, unfortunately, now need to work their way back north, back to the action. But as I said before, a lot of them are sitting on the outside edge. A lot of them are trying to take as many fights as they can. And they can remember, points make prizes. This is the penultimate game, I said before, but it's a second chance for us before we end things out in this point format. There'll be no more half-price chicken dinner. The shop's going back to full price. Doesn't mean if they want the kills, they've got to get it now.
They've kind of scurried around that ridge line. Now finally, Alpake gets taken down, but it's actually a completely different fight that we maybe should be focusing on. That 7 game against Hive.
Oh my god.
3 players from 7 game have already been dropped. That's a mortar, handmade mortar, that almost takes down the Hive players, but they will keep standing as 4, and it's going to be super, super tough for him to get anything done. Brynix even being spotted out by the glider, he might just get one. Oh, that just cannot happen. That just cannot happen. That he hits these shots and that Presenti is going to be able to do this 1v1. Both of these things shouldn't happen. Sorry, I didn't mean that he was going to be able to. That he's even going to take this. Like, that's just ridiculous risk that he really shouldn't take in a 4v1, but he does apparently anyways. And he gets shot down immediately after.
Did you see the flash of a player that he launched a nade? The nade wasn't going to go there, Felix. He just saw a little flash of the player, and then it was like, oh, let me launch it that way. And he able, so unfortunate, he didn't get a knock. But huge damage. Good play from him. There's that zone shift, though. As it does go back towards that top. There's that replay. It's insane. As unfortunately, presented himself from the gods from above. But it wasn't going to be enough, though. SlamG, eager to get points. I don't think they've been, I'm going to say fed. I'm going to use a horrible term. They really just haven't had the teams come in their way. But oh my god, they've got the ability though with their links. Get the spray, launches the spray through the smoke, gets another connection as well. They just need more points coming their way, but the chips are not falling.
Would have been a good tag with the links if you could have followed it up with a couple of shots from his AUG. You get kind of close. And it would have been direct competition as well. SlamG against Hive. That's definitely some of these top teams battling it out for prize pool in these last 2 games. So, not unrealistic that SlamG especially knew that Hive was in that position, and that they've read it up based off of the kill feed, and that was the reason why they even pulled up relatively closely in the first place. But be that as it may, nothing has come off of it just yet. Still, a lot of space inside this circle, a lot of positions that are to be played. Everyone's still got a chance on this one. Skittles far towards the northern side. And as the circle comes in, it's going to be a hard west shift. This is going to make things a little bit more interesting now. The teams have to move. All these teams from the eastern side not only have to move inside towards the next edge, potentially even further, because there's very few positions that you can't play there, especially if we're talking about 3 or 4 teams rotating in the same way. So coexisting that's going to pose a little bit of a problem. And we're looking at the center of it as well. Even getting to the center here. Not just taking the positions out, just getting to the center. Based off of where these players are right now, how SlamG's positioned, how Hive is positioned, it's going to pose big problems as well. It's going to get tough for these eastern teams.
This is a tough circle. Well, I don't want to do Koho any injustice because he's the big brain of this, but there's a couple of factors here that he'll be talking about. One, that north pillar that's just south of Jiaoting that we see Sloy going over the top of now, right? That's got a hard shift away. It's unplayable. We've got one in the south, but we've also got one pillar in the middle. So do we see a heavy shift back towards the west? Are we going to see high ground in a late game? Maybe we see the urban trains on the west remain in. Maybe, just maybe, it goes for a heavy aggressive southeast shift as well. Get away from that high pillar in the north. Get away as much as it can from that pillar that's in that center. It's a difficult zone to call. A very difficult call. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see more teams maybe center up here and try and roll the dice that they expect to be in, come to the next zone. But we've only got 44, 13 teams left. We should have a little bit of a lull here that gives them a bit of space to rotate around.
There's a lot of rocks in there towards the northern side and the western side as well. But arguably, even towards the southern side, there's a sliver of rock in there. So, being sure whether, where the ending phase 7, 8, 9 is going to be should be relatively obvious and relatively safe for most of these teams. And that's going to make it a little bit more interesting as well in terms of some of these decisions that we're going to see right now. Right, exactly what you said. But we're getting ahead of ourselves here. For now, at least, for phase 3, there's a bit more space towards the northern side. There's a bit more space towards the southern side. And these sliver of edges, these sliver of placements that they can get from these actions, these sliver of positions, rather, I should say, are being taken just now. You can see Dope, for example, one of the teams that I'm talking about. They will have a spot now, but phase 4, phase 5 is going to be the trouble for them. Same with Skittles, you could argue. And same with Fairy Tail. They're now trying to find a position south of the rock that Skittles is in, and just now rotating off as well, as you can see by the map stream. But yeah, it's going to be tough. As we've said, it's going to be tough. Maybe not this phase, but the next ones to come.
Lots of space in the south. We've got Dope watching and Believe rotate rounds. I think they'd be happy with that one. Oh, they are one. Looking down the barrel of a Lynx on the other side. He needs to be cautious. Here comes that zone shift. Everyone just sort of creeping their way into the outside edge. There's that recall for Beer Feathers. There is that heavy east rotation. So that's where we lose that pillar at the top. We've obviously kind of lost that pillar on that zone before on the south side, but we've got to get rid of that one in the middle. So it had to go heavy aggressive towards that west, or had to go heavy across towards the east. That's a good play here. So it's going to play into the hands like win or die. What it does mean, though, it's a very open ending. We're going to see a lot of open terrain fields. So things like the shields, the cars, you've got to try and keep these activated and try and stay alive.
Brutal zone shift here as well. Not an easy way to navigate now. Especially if you're these two teams that we're seeing. You kind of thought yourself safe. I gotta be honest, I thought you safe as well. Well, this one you're gonna have to move quite a bit. And moving with these open sidelines with more teams rotating into the backlines of yours. It's going to get so much more troublesome. First, knocks have already come in. The motor's going to deal a little bit of trouble as well. Not going to hit anyone just yet, but it does impose that fear. It does limit your playing ability. And we'll get the res nevertheless. But still, so much ahead of them. Need to fight the next team pretty much straight on to even find any kind of position in phase 5. But for now, it's going to be go next against Believe.
Big game. Big fight here. Mad Negative, though, is still on the higher ground. He's going to try and stay as much as he can. Let's eventually move off here, so be cautious. Go next Esports though. I'm going to dump the util. Believe need to come in. Skittles out in 13th place. Wow, that is huge though. Slam G deny them. Oh, if you're win or die, if you're a Slam G and you're reading that kill feed, this could be huge. Not as huge as that, Kobe. Frenchie will fall. Fine. Has a finite for perfection when it comes down to util. And there they go. The belief is no more.
Really isn't. I unfortunately think
oh,
same is going to happen to Conquest.
Out with a C4.
Posing side. Oh, what? Is that all of them? Is that all of them? I think that's
all of them.
That might just be all of them. Yeah, that's insane.
Oh my God, win or die will be going. Well, hold on. Skills have just fallen. Slam G have just gone off. Where's Conquest? Because we can close the gap here.
5 frags as well. Well, he does bring them into the territory, yes indeed, and they might just be the only team making it out of that west side. Apart from, obviously, some of the players have just moved past towards the northern side. Beerfell as it is indeed. But they're going to be in trouble too. Sayuf, okay, from nowhere. I, to be honest, wouldn't have expected them either. Irritation somehow find themselves a 3rd frag. Not to the liking of Beerfellas. Well, yeah, Conquest.
The hot drop as well.
Yeah, lots of space now. You can see this is finally approaching some kind of territory where you can play on foot a little bit more. Or you still need to use your cars, but it makes it a little bit more fair.
This is horrible. Alex, stop being nice. This is a horrible zone. They're going to be playing in the middle of the field now, mate. This is going to be interesting. Actually plays sometimes towards these solos. We saw obviously bad rotation coming off the hot drop or the loss of a hot drop, should we say, from Lock. So, another point. Another opportunity, not in the placement points. We are still 10 teams. We're looking for a top 4 to be able to get into those placement points. So all about the kills at the moment. Without Dope down to 2, but they are in zone. Little bit of a fortification here. As keep his eyes wrapped around him as he can hear all the shots popping off. More mortar fire. Store in shoes towards that go next position. Let's go next Esports now, returning the favour towards Conquest.
Mortars coming in. You've seen crazier mortars towards the end of the game. But these ones still look quite decently placed, actually. I'm surprised. Just one right here with 1 minute 50 to go. Will make a lot of trouble. Shayo finally gets taken down, goes on the board of Fairy Tales. As if they need it, as if they wouldn't have a great comeback already. As we are approaching the top 8, ladies and gentlemen. Conquest still needs to find their way in. Hive right next to them with a great split as well. Might just be challenged of denying just that.
Let's wait and see. Edge comes in. Here comes the P-Fire. Block though. Let's get him. Good shots from him. That's 3. Looking for the 4th. Go next though. Not having the best final day. Having a great start. They need to get the momentum back. They've still got a couple of games left to be able to do it in Hive though. Down to 3, but 3 points as well. And these are the rice fields I'm talking about. This is horrific to run your way through. You got to spray. You got to listen through. It's going to deny as much of the visual as you can. Rocks though, oh, he's got the peak on him, and Conquest trying to work their way down, but they get completely denied. Hive can't be shifted.
More utility coming in. Fight is far from over. There's more teams trying to make a move on. Getjor takes down Hickses. Winner Die still standing 4-man strong. This is insane. Look how they maneuver around these ridgelines. This is far from easy. Finding a spot for everyone. Despite there not being this one solid position. No, you always have to be careful of the sidelines at any given time. And they still have that big stretch of players all around this southern edge. More players in front of them, though. But judging by the sidelines for the rest of the teams, they should have a pretty easy time not isolating some of these. Especially 100 ADR, which is right in front of them. Almost hit a massive, massive Molotov. I'm not even sure this can go in like this. I'm not sure. This might just be a case for PUBG Mythbusters. I'm not sure it actually can cross that. At least the Molotov. I'm pretty sure Nate can. I'm not sure Molotov can actually cross that window. Or maybe I just haven't paid enough attention. Just Panzer it.
Just Panzer the side of the wall.
Oh yeah, even for them. I mean, just looking deep into the zone, it's going to be tough. finding a position. I think they will eventually need to breach the last two remaining players from Do inside of it, which is fair enough. Pretty decent position
Get
to
the
be played
car,
anyways.
run! Oh. If you can't get the money in, you haven't got a Panzer, just C4 it. There's no way he's going to survive from here. Zone shift further afield, we go further down. 6 teams now remain. Store not in the placement points just yet, but we've got 16 bodies remaining. Hive, 5 kills down to 3. We're trying to deny opportunities here for Conquest to get in. And with Win or Die clearing 100 ADR, they now got to clear through the rice fields. And unfortunately for them, it's now going to be the next contenders without Dope. Levante gets the first nade. That's good for them. Little dibs, though, on the other side, going back into the smoke. Got to be careful with the molly. But he actually go next, though. Further afield, gets the final knock. And without Dope, falling 6.
Fairy Tale now is going to love this. So many more teams, so many more players being eliminated towards the southern side. Fairy Tale still, once again, with the only hardcover building inside this current phase, has got prime spot now to make things happen. Hive, on the other hand, still have little players left standing, and one of which is already not only close to the airdrop that's coming down, but also is very, very center positioned. It's got a lot of information towards the rest of the circle as well. So Fairy Tale, as soon as they need to move out, it might pose a little bit of a problem, Hive having a single player there. The rest of them are still waiting for Conquest to move in, and that player really just doesn't want to move. Just really doesn't want to move.
No, Shingen has to back away, especially they've got the meds. Go next, go down. Now we're in our placement points, though. Win or Die here, and they're only one again with a full house. 4 players for them. It's 4 versus 3 versus 3 versus 1. Fairy Tale, for that rotation you're talking about, but it's open terrain, difficult again to keep those cars activated. Win or Die, 10 kills, 10 frags with Skittles going out early. I said to you, it's a green light for this team, and they are taking full advantage.
He's got 3 more first aids. And he might just find more. I don't think there's any more in the bodies, though. Now he finally has to run. I'm not sure it's going to be enough with the 3 first aids, but it's still, despite him not being active towards Hive, it just, look how much it denies them. They really just can't think about the next phase just yet because they know there's another player right behind them. And they've kept track of the kill feed. They know he's not dead for certain, so just because of that, there's always this risk of being shot in the back, and Antlers now has to run. He realizes there's no way around this. He has to die to the blue zone, doesn't give away the frag, knows Hive is direct competition, and just like that, we're down to the top 3, ladies and gentlemen. It does go in with Hive and Win or Die yet again. Both of these teams, Fairy Tale as well, both of these teams, all 3 of these teams really close to the top spots. Fairy Tale not so much, despite what you might think after having seen the last round, but Win or Die and Hive, very much so. This is going to be between them.
Big knockdown from the Lynx. It's a different story for Fairy Tale. They're just trying to get themselves into the prize pool, right? They've had a bad 2 days. They haven't had that gel, the mojo we expect. I said before, they're looking for that Fairy Tale ending at the moment, even if it's just a reward of some money for this circuit. 6 kills. To keep this car alive as best they can, and they've got to extend. They're on a 2-1 split, though. April trying to expose Hive, but Dante already moving his way in towards the zone. Open train field ending, as I said. This is all about dips and crevices, unplayed most of the time. So it's going to come down to raw skill set. As Fairy Tale look to get these smokes out, because they'll be looking to try and move into zone.
Ooh, would have been beautiful. Doesn't end it just yet. Instead, it's going to be April. Oh, wow. Okay. Job being flushed right away as well. That's just, yeah, that's just not good for Fairy Tale, and obviously, judging by that position out in the open field, it's going to be between Hive and Win or Die. It's going to be a fair 3v3. Great rich lines as well for both of these teams. And now, essentially, with this position, we're just waiting for Fairy Tale to fall down to their knees. There's just nothing they can really do. No sightlines, no ridge line they can really run across. And I've noticed this as well. They're already setting up for the frag, or rather for the fight against Win or Die.
Yeah, you remember Dante moved here first already, so he's denied the Win or Die push. Roxo, MK, gets himself some more cookies out the cookie jar. That level 3 vest and helmet, well, that's going to help Hive close things out. So I said they've struggled with momentum. This game has got an element of control, which they are good. Levante moves to the other side of the hill. Got to be careful. I feel like Fairytale could cause some issues here. Yes, they might be going out. Yes, they might not make the next extension. But if they pop up, if they see Hive and Fairytale, Hive and Win or Die fighting, Fairytale can take full advantage. And it could go to either team. So no surprise that both these teams are fixated in these final two players.
A little bit of a smoke wall there. Leo still finds him though, as he tries to make the run across. Don't be fooled, that wasn't the play that we just saw. It was indeed a different one. Now we can see that's who they've run across. But interesting enough, they're surviving way more than I would have thought they would. Instead, it's going to be Levante actually now taking the fight towards Hive. They might actually get second place, depending on how Dante's performing. Dante takes down Levante though. He does turn it around just a tiny bit. Leo's just going to come in. He needs to put up one hell of a performance. Doesn't go for the rest straight away. Sees the player across.
Oh my god.
Great play, great position. But he can see enemy players on the other side. Don't really have nades in their hand. And with this one, Pop's just as good as last game. They're in big trouble. 1 nade, 2 nades. I don't think there's a third coming, but they're not going to be enough just yet.
Oh, Lash gets him as well. Dante gets the blue zone knocked, though. He had to go back off the rock to exchange, get the U2 here. Hellamabad does arrive, though, as Levante did take the fight. Laosh, though, and Hellamabad further afield now. Going to try and exchange the reses either side. So a little bit of a time as Fairytale has now fallen. It's technically still a 3 versus 3. Both do get the reses back on. Hellamabad goes now for U2 again. Levante had everything in his back pocket. There goes one outstanding molly. There goes another one. It's going to take full down to a 2 versus 1 here. The car only being used as cover and Win or Die, living for the win.
Great Molotov on the second play as well. And now it should just be a simple cleanup. Leosh might even be able to get revived here. Levante tries to pick up a second angle too. They should know exactly where this last player is. And it's a 2v1. They're not going for the res. More flashes are coming in. This should be a safe one. Levante peeks around the corner. Gets him as well. Win or Die once again. They will shine through. It's a 15 frag chicken dinner. And ladies and gentlemen, we might have an upset at our hands. I said it at the start of the day. It might not be as distant as we might think on the leaderboard. And I think that has come through now. Skittles is in big trouble.
Skittles this week. Well, they might have a sour tooth after that one, mate, because Win or Die, a 20-point game. They're a team which we know that can do it. We're a team that obviously didn't start off very well on day number 1, but a good day number 2, an outstanding day number 3. It does mean, folks, it's going to come down to the wire. We saw chaos from the drop here. Expect a lot more in our final game.
Really great shots here as well from from 7 Gaming. Even though it was a little bit unnecessary for Presenti to just ego peek him like that from the glider as well, you know. Sometimes you just gotta do it. Sometimes you just gotta follow your heart. Despite the heart being wrong. And there you have it once more as well. Hive, that was the reason essentially why they haven't been able to really take all the positions and have all the plays they really wanted to in the late game fight against Win or Die. They've been held up by Conquest. And of all the teams, to have Conquest on your edge as well, that's just not what you want to have so far after, you know, seeing the last 2 days. But they did, unfortunately. They had to deal with it. And despite it being a great round, despite that fight not going their way, that ending fight you can see right here, they made a lot of points, and they're still very much in contention as well for that win.
I love that to get back off the rock to go get some U2. Levante had everything in his back pocket, but they still had the win as the team. Good play. So 15 kills. 20-point game is not too bad for our penultimate, though. But we do need to go to a break. When we come back, it is our game number 12. Our final Erangel, our final opportunity, though, before we would tie things up and dish out the money. We're looking for the top 8. We'll see you guys in a few.
It's so exciting seeing 24 countries again. It's so different than before.
I come to another tournament of PUBG, and this tournament is very big for me.
I won't lie, it's my first time and I'm nervous.
非常的羡慕，然后很向往，所以这一次能参加 PNC 还是对自己挺骄傲的。
I enjoyed playing the game with you guys and enjoyed the nice trip to Korea.
잡고 싶다.
I mean, the boys thought that we didn't qualify. We all were happy because we know that we play finals.
The most memorable is probably just the people you get to meet, a lot of new faces and a lot of new people you finally get to meet face to face.
今年はちょっと、自分がオーダーをしていたんですけど、やっぱオーダー経験がちょっと浅くて、そう味方をうまく動かせなかったっていうのが。
PNC is like an unscripted movie, and I'm very excited for next year.
Thank you guys very much for supporting us, and hopefully we'll be here again next year.
Thank you to all the fans from all different languages and cultures. I think it's wild that we have such an intersection here.
就大家辛苦了吧，就是感觉这次是个就很棒的比赛。
It's been a difficult 5 days for us, but I'm thankful to my teammates and all the fans for supporting us the whole time.
Y estoy muy orgulloso de mi nivel. We really appreciate the invite. I hope there will be Philippines on next year.
我的 PNC 也结束了，那我希望你们还是一样可以继续支持 PNC。
Participating to PNC as team friends is really really nice. 이번에 처음 나온 나라들도 있고 처음 나온 선수들도 많을 텐데 재밌게 경기력을 보여줘서 고맙다고 생각하고 있습니다.
No second chances, no plan B. Win or die. Well, they came to win today, and they're doing it in style, though. 100 points. They'd left it square on the nose, though. So Skittles, well, they've been shaken, they've been stirred, and they are now falling into second place. That has a big impact when it comes down to the money. Conquest, though, unchanged, unhinged, though, as they are in third. Fourth place, though, for Slam G. Hive do get a move up, and they do take the position away from Go Next. Fairy Tail, they get their position now in the top 8, so they have been fighting, as I say, to get into the money, into that top 8, because that's where the prize pool. But with no further ado, we've got to get things rolling, though. It is the final game. It is game number 12 here for the Super Cup number 3. We're a cooking, we're a wiggling, we're a shaking, because the plane path is coming in from a west to northwest, down to a southeast. Does he get it? Does he catch it? Oh, just about. He nearly questioned it, though. 4 out of 4. I think he's now not an apprentice anymore. The Master Observer catches them all. Always, always, always.
Pretty fair playing path as well, I gotta say. We've been really just blessed with really fair playing paths throughout the last 3 days, throughout this last final. It's what you want to have, right? You know, get the nasty stuff out of the way in the first 2 days, and then, you know, let me finally chime into the mix and have it be great. And that's what we've seen so far. Last match, if I'm not mistaken here, we've seen 11 so far. It's it's been a crazy last day, to be honest, as well. Win or Die finally taking the top spot. 5 points difference now to Skittles. And Conquest just behind it on 74. For Conquest and Slam G, it's going to be a little bit tough. Above 25 points to get a move on. That's what they need to really take that one spot. And Win or Die, or Skittles alternatively, not making any points whatsoever. So let's be real. Realistically, it's going to be in between Skittles and Win or Die. But what kind of storyline would that be? We've said it very sternly, very firmly at the beginning of this day as well. Win or Die is not the type of team you can underestimate with a 28 gap. Not in a lobby like this.
Yeah, not in a lobby like this. Win or Die unhinged from their drop spot as well. So they're going for George. Go for the containers. They'll extend over to North. So Conquest, we know they have neighbours. No, guarantee they will know exactly who those neighbours are. First kill is confirmed. As, gets punched out. Go Next Esports had a great start. Great day number 1 here in Super Cup 3. But unfortunately for them, losing a body early. I'm pretty sure the chip's in that car and it's going to go sailing away without dope.
WWCD finding themselves a really comfortable spot on the side of this center circle. However, we all know it's Erangel. Phase 1 doesn't really matter too much on this one. Still has plenty of spots to be taken. Skittles back to the apartments as well. That's also a pretty great spot, to be honest. It's going to suit Skittles' playstyle very much. And then Win or Die is the next big team we do have to talk about. Towards eastern side of Georgia, towards container area. Not even North Georgia, they're on container area as well. Surrounded by plenty of teams. Out of all the teams that we've just mentioned, definitely the toughest of entries. And especially if you talk about this little bit of competition between Skittles and Win or Die, between who's really going to take this one spot. Big advantage here in terms of zone for Skittles up in the early stages. But talking about early stages, Dope has also been a team that we've talked about quite intensively. They unfortunately will drop the ball here just a tiny bit in this very last game.
You can see a couple of teams rotating early. All eyes are going to be on a few. Skittles obviously being one of them. As they have come down from school, an apartment split past Potato Hill. Try to find maybe more of a position down the south side. But Sloy Jacket gets caught, so he does retract his way back. Lots of freedom up here at the moment. Not as many teams have moved in. Win or Die going for an emergency pickup now, so that'll be a team which you want to watch. Skittles won't want to overextend. They want to be careful here. They don't want to lose any bodies early. Same as Win or Die. They've only just taken the lead, right? And with one game left, this is the final game. You don't want to throw it away. You don't want to go out early. It's a double emergency pickup. So it'll be interesting to see if they do pick that up when they leave. So in case the zone does shift back, at least they get the options to rotate back the way they came.
Skittles, big split here right now. Don't have a lot of priority up on towards that Potato Hill side. And they will use it. And because so many other teams don't really have a chance anymore, you can see a lot more skirmishes now happening in Phase 1. Go Next is trying to get involved as well in this fight.
C4.
Looks like it's going to be a fun three-way fight in Phase 1. Pyder has almost spotted out one of the players. Car98, haven't really seen too many knocks with that in recent times. But Lifters actually signs through, gets one, gets two. And looks like he's about to find the flushes as well, one of which already. And the second one apparently as well. This is a great pickup coming in from Go Next, but they've lost Fine in the process. So not everything as perfect as it seemed to be from their little bit of a sandwich position that they've created themselves. There are still two more teams inside this compound, maybe even three if I see that correctly. I think Believe has just started to come in from the southern side as well.
Yeah, Belief has backfield. This is all coming into that last game antics, right? Everyone's just trying to get as many points as they can because you got to remember, if they find themselves in the top 8, they're in prize pool. So prize pool is 5k distributed out, and this is the end of this circuit. Does catch the rotation from bad rotation in on the C4, but they do lose 2. And here comes that first third party. That bad rotation, well, gets knocked actually from Belief on the south side. Kaidil will fall. Is down to 1 versus 1 here. Gets maxed down to a one shot. Going for the repeat. Doesn't quite get the angle as he's looking for that confirmation. Number 5 on the board here for bad rotation. But yes, the opportunity now to get the res if he can. But Belief reinforcements, they are coming. There won't be a solo for much longer.
Monte gets the flash first and foremost. But still so much ahead of them. And yeah, we talked about this. I mean, it's what you usually see, right? This is why you love to watch the last game. So many skirmishes that don't necessarily really have any sense, any deeper sense behind it. You sure as hell don't want to have a 3 or 4-way fight in farm. That's for sure. That's our position you would have fight for in Phase 1. But you do it anyways, you know? As soon as that first fight, that first third-party opportunity comes in, there's just a lot more to follow. And bad rotations in the midst of it all. 5 frags, one of the better rounds for them. Unfortunately, it's losing 2 players as well. It's not going to make it any easier. And there goes Slam G as well. Charming into the action. Might just find the first knock onto Conquest. He is behind the rock though, so for the time being, maybe Conquest can still salvage this. They do still have 3 players, so it is tied in terms of man advantage. And you can see they're not trying to let this last player go down either. You shouldn't. You still have a chance of making a move on the leaderboard. You are still very much, same as SlamG, in position to get prize money. And SlamG also has got to be set, looking for this, timing for this. They do want to take the fight towards Conquest. Quite rightfully so.
Yeah. Blowy goes for the high grounds. Get the initial spray. Has got 3 frags, so doesn't quite see the player go down the stairs. So that nade will bounce off the window frame and clear the hallway. He's going to look for that position and try and get it down the stairs, but he doesn't quite get it either. But it doesn't matter. He's already played down. Kato does get the res back on, so there is 2 here. Reinforcements have arrived from Believe. Only 1 kill taken away from them. The rest of the guys from bad rotations, they've got a hold now. They're in farm. It is in zone. It is in the southeast corner. Also worth noting, Will or Die losing the body, so skills are going their way. SlamG, you can see him on the kill feed. They're racking up points as well, so all desperate attempts trying to secure their spot 1 place higher than they are at the moment.
Oh, I love this. Sunflower gets on top of the building. He'll find himself in a decent position now to work with his teammates. It's not going to happen too much just yet, but maybe some of the players can be baited outside of this. And now, obviously, an Everlast Orb can be a little bit more aggressive. Even if he gets knocked, they can't really push him. And he really has to be careful of nades, because as soon as they run out, his position on top of that building is going to be super, super beneficial. And there we have it, the first recall coming in as well. Great. Observing here, Go Next, who's originally been part of this fight as well, has rotated off. Has found themselves a way of getting back that 4th player. I think they only dropped 1 in that process.
Be careful. You gotta be careful, right? Back's doing the right thing. I'll get himself back into the fight, and I think the guys will be coming back in 2-1. Here we go. And they can jump far. So Go Max went all the way out towards Mansion to go get that recall back up. Frenchie, just have a look around the outside edge. I don't know like, how effective that roof play is going to be, but I suppose if they jump out, yeah, you can see them, you can hear them, but they can hear you as much. So you see they're just pinged up, so they know someone's on their roof. I think they're looking at this now as 1's denied at the top. If we can get a knock, that could be huge for us.
Someone's going to make a move at some point, because both teams can literally just hold this until the end of days. I'm not sure Believe knows that they've got the amount advantage. They surely know there's 2 players inside. Maybe they're thinking of 3. Shots from distance coming in now. That's Fairy Tale, by the way. And that's at the same time also going to work against, obviously, bad rotation inside this building. Can't exit the northern side of things either anymore. Now Never Level Stop is closing in on it. I saw some flashes in the backpacks on the inventory on some of his teammates, so I don't expect him to just run in blindly, but at the moment, I don't think he wants to do that anyways just yet. They're consolidating. They're waiting for the perfect moment, but they know someone's trapped in the bathroom. I think that's really important information, because his teammate is nowhere to be found when it comes to trading. Oh, the blue grenade touches the right side? Oh, I'm very surprised. They should know he's in the bathroom. Now he jumps out. Oh, Fairy Tale isn't there anymore. It's a quick trade, but it's only a trade. But it doesn't matter. The blue zone grenade does the rest of the damage. So never mind me, there were more blue zone grenades in play. That's where the first one came towards the right side of things. Makes total sense, and that's a good quick cleanup. 2 more frags towards their side. Doesn't really change much in the grand scheme of things. Believe, unfortunately, has been pushed down the leaderboard quite extensively in the first 2 days, but gives a little bit more of a nicer feeling ending this tournament.
Zone, well, they had a limited time. It has shifted back towards the northwest. It's gone all the way back to Everest, leaving farm well in the past. Skittles, it's okay. They're still in their drop spot. They're going to need some kills here, so they've got to time it. At what time do they move out from the compounds? When do they sort of play to end game? So lots of variables here at the moment. But again, at the moment, they have good position. Will or Die moving their way back. Now they're on the outside edge of our Pachinki. As they do get Deadrocks back. So they'll be back to a 4. And he's going to be able to get his loot as well. So good play from them. They already are. What do you for them? Losing bodies. They are again now on the outside edge. That zone shifted away from them. Just trying to find where are the final players from Go Next. Did they come back? They all died on the recall? I think GoMax is... I think Max for Go Next Esports is alone again.
Might be. Might actually be alone again, yeah. Trying to find him on the map stream as well, but... yeah, no, Acalyptus is actually down. Acalyptus was on the military island? Okay.
Oh, yeah, he is, yeah.
Yeah, he was just rotating over. I'm not sure what he tried to do there, but... yeah, maybe go for a different recall... Maybe go for a different recall spot, but then again, like, there's so many still open on the northern side. That doesn't really make sense to me. And also the timing would just be off, but yeah, be that as it may. Leaf will still rotate in, Go Next will still rotate in. As we are approaching phase 4. Well. Oh yeah, true.
They've hit the recall system in Milta, so they're going to rotate in via emergency pickup, and they've also hit the recall system as well, so it's good timing from them. This is an interesting zone, obviously, with the zone shift going back this way. It does, I do fear for a bit of a pachinki. I love if we get those kind of field endings outside and kind of between Beer Fellas and Skittles. Still have to lose a lot of water for that to happen, so maybe it won't be the case, but we still got the big contenders here. Slam G store in, Win or Die are store in. I'm going to even say Skittles store contending. They just need some people to kind of push their way. Conquest, though, unfortunately, getting locked out. Hive, again, in a goodish position, but they're on a big 2-2 split, so I do worry a little bit about that.
Ooh, okay. Shit's back to Pachinki. Troublesome for most of these, not so troublesome for Believe. I'm very excited now to see them find a spot here. This is definitely not a bad emergency pickup in terms of the timing. Just wondering whether or not they commit to the city. I could imagine they commit to the city at the moment. There's one team already in it. It's quite far split. And the die is now approaching towards the western side of things as well. I don't think they'll commit all the way, though. I think they'll just do a 2-2 split with the church. But, yeah, depending on where they drop, they might just drive in towards the next team over. And that's when they win a chicken dinner Esports. The first one already does get dropped. And the second one as well. First flush too. Oh, this is disaster for Believe. They just cannot find any opening whatsoever. And Frenzy does find a trade, but his teammate is already there. This is disastrous. Yeah. They can't even find a single flush beyond that one knock. That is horrible. Believe just couldn't make it work. Despite them singling out the one building that really did make the most amount of sense as well. They knew there was only one player that could isolate him quite well. Just losing. Unfortunately, just losing game fights in the process.
Lucky enough for them, they got that recall. So they're down to one body in the town. Gonna die. They're on a bigger split, but they held the outside edge. Good play from them. Obviously, multiple. So Locke have gone back for a recall system. 100 ADR have also gone back for recall system. So more bodies to return here on our match number 12. Pachinki, well, it will be temptation for a lot of these bodies that are coming back, mainly because that's where the loot is. We'll have to obviously wait for the next zone. They've got 1 minute 25 left on the clock before we see the recalls come back in. Conquest store there as well, so they're going to be happy. All the big contenders store in. I feel like this is the calm now before the storm, as some of these teams, if they want to take those additional spots here, Alex, they've got to start getting kills.
Got a massive split going on as well. If you take a look at the map stream, I've got a 2-1-1 split. One's all the way in the outside edges of the western zone. You could almost argue it's in the Gatka type area. And then there's other two teammates, obviously. One is towards Liquid Highway, one is towards the Yellow. So big split coming in from Hive. They do really want to make as much as they can happen here. Little do they know, western side is entirely clean. No one's really coming through that. And even further inside the zone, it's a 2-2 split coming in from Win or Die from that western Pachinki compound. So interested to see how they approach this now. They obviously don't want to sense it up too much. They're taking the Yellows despite them having the opportunity to go for a more centralized position. Meaning, it's very likely they do want to take these fights head on. Slam G is kind of pushed with the backs to the blue zone in this whole Ruins area. And it's a really easy way to gatekeep them there as well. A lot of very open, very long sidelines that might work in their favor, especially with Fairy Tale coming in to support them as well. So, I'm about to find out whether or not Hive really can make something work on this northwestern side of things.
BRDM. That might be something that's going to work for him. See if they can keep it alive here. Zone does shift towards the northwest. Just come back towards Slam G, but it is open train here. Hive are rightfully so going to try and hold these guys out. I do worry what Fairy Tail will do because they will lurk over, and again, every time they get more kills, every time they push themselves up the leaderboard, that's more money for Alex that they're going to be able to get as well. So, wait and see. Unfortunately for Belief, that's the end of their journey here on this circuit. They are going to fall out in 13th place.
More shots coming in. And it's pretty much exactly happening like we said, right? Slam G in a whole lot of trouble. Fairy Tail with some pretty good angles. I mean, Hive with some pretty good angles as well, but none of the teams really yet destined to take this route. To be honest, if I would have to favor anyone, it would be Win or Die, especially towards these top-heavy teams. Like, looking at that position, they've got a super solid standing, one of the best splits in the game right now. And SKT has a long way ahead of them. They found spots for 2 of the players, but they have that really, really unfortunate situation that the beer fellas are right in between them. You can see this on the northern side. So if SKT, if Skittles really wants to make this work, they will sooner or later need to take this fight. Good news is, though, it's an isolated fight. Up until this point, maybe. Depends on where Slam G goes.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Slam G are going to try and work their way in towards Pachinki here. I think the logic is to either sit here, sit in the compound on the outside. Leosh just presenting himself to actually hold on with a team here. If they pull up, which they are, they've got a hands up. Be the time to call it out of the godly heavens. Leosh has got 3 nades. So maybe just deploy some cover out. Slam G opts not to move. They are in safety, but don't forget they can see him as much as he can see them. So I think they'll just sit in wait. I worry if our guys from Win or Die, they've got a pans up, that's the team wipe straight away.
This might just decide who's going to take the win now. Beer fellas in big, big trouble, but so is Skittles. And once again, the only good thing about this is that usually you're not really having an isolated fight here. There's too many angles, too many good positions from the open fields to the west-hand side, even towards the eastern side of things. The forest area, there usually is 1 or 2 teams. That's not the case here. Skittles can take this as a 4-on-4 fight, straight head-on. So can BFLs, and they need to as well. There's no way to coexist here. And you can see BFLs is closing it as well. They're closing in on this. And so is Hive on towards Fairy Tail. Both of these teams are now fighting for survival. Skittles, this is so very important to them. 2 frags is probably not going to be enough to keep them at the very top or even close to the top. For sure it's not, actually. It's 5-point different before this game. They need to stay alive with all of them. 2 players being taken down. 1 flushed. Hakamari drops to the ground as well. Sloy, he just cannot do anything. And now it's just 1 player left standing. That's Sloy Jacket. And ladies and gentlemen, unless he can pull something miraculous out of his sleeves, he might just have a winner here for this week's Player Cup. Because I don't think his position is good enough to secure himself more placement points. But look at this, Win or Die, they're dropping like flies as well. Lurix takes down Leosh, and one's dropped all out in the open. That's Gadrox across the street. Oh my word, what is happening? Everyone's just falling, despite it being isolated fights.
Sloy is running though, but it might be the final call for him. 2 kills is not enough. He needs to get the 5. He falls. The Skittles now can't get first place. We know that. They haven't got enough kills. Win or Die. If they go out now, we might find them have a conquering victory. I think Conquest have got a bit too much to ask for, but they're still in the fight here. Slam G causes some problems. They're not going to be aware of that situation at the moment. They're going to work their way. Spray goes through. Head of my bad. Takes a couple of shots, but Mogor gets the opportunity just to have a little breather. The opportunity now to pick up Artix and put him back into safety as Mogor can take on the pressure.
They have consolidated back into the charge. If they want to be extra safe, get a couple more points, but it might just be enough as it is. Win or Die has really made one hell of a comeback to you. That is insane. But nothing that we didn't predict at the start of it. We said Skittles, that's going to be the question of today. Can they keep this up? Yes, they could keep it up to some degree, but Win or Die has just been a tiny bit too great. not only the last 2 games, even during this one, I mean, they're still left standing. They've had a perfect rotation. They've consolidated back towards Church. Yes, they've lost a player quite interestingly, I want to say. I don't have the full picture of the situation, but I felt like that really wasn't needed. This one, for example, surely wasn't needed either. Edrox immediately gets taken down, but rotations were still on point. The fights were on point up until this point. And that's all you need to make 24 points comeback happening. And even be 5 points ahead in just 3 games.
Which is mental. They said it, living up to the name, right? Win or die. They survive the chaos, they stand tall, and they stand tall in the final day. Big comeback, nice control, nice hold, they're storing it. The skit was full, they're 5 points short, we're technically 3 points short. Fortunately for them, the Beer Fellas, they rung the bell for the final order. And the bar's now closed for Skittles. So it's down to these final teams. 9 teams now remain. A lot more chaos. Don't forget, a lot more teams. They want to try and climb the leaderboard here. Fairy Tail is one of them. SlamG the same. Every additional placement they can get now, every different kill, will stand them a chance to get more money. And it's about getting the money in the back pocket though. But here comes the charge. SlamG Lewis comes up. He steps up ahead of my band. Says goodbye. Levante launches the molly. Swings the shot. Swings him into the flames of glory. And hell will claim win or die. But there be our victors. SlamG will take 7 kills, but they take the church and they take it in style.
Great stuff coming in from SlamG. It's a comeback story. It's a little bit of a comeback story as well. They've kind of struggled throughout this tournament. Not as much as Fairy Tail has. Not even closely as much as Fairy Tail has. But they've definitely redeemed themselves for a couple of bad games that didn't really seem necessary. They should have been in the running from the very get-go. They haven't, unfortunately, been as much as I think a lot of the SlamG fans out there have been hoping them to be. But they've now, in game number 12, surely made up for it. It's not going to be the win, I don't think so, unless they literally clean out the rest of the lobby. I think it's going to be very unlikely, but they have made it into the prize money placements for sure, and that's, I think, what counts to them the most.
That's what it's about. That is what it's about. Beer Fellas, 7 kills here. They are making an attempt. What's it, 44 points? That's Beer Fellas. Beer Fellas on 37, so all or nothing, I suppose. The end here. Does have the better. Does find the better. Dante goes down. Outside edge of blue. As you can see it now encroaching into his position. They find themselves working in pretty much an open terrain. With 8 kills. The fella's also going out with a bit of a bang here.
Changing position now. Throws the Molotov to potentially get that frag. Okay, I'm not even sure he... Okay,
Headshot.
I'm not sure that was intentional. Be that as it may, that was a great shot. Rox is immediately, as soon as he pops out, taken out by that pre-fire shot, which I just assumed it was, judging by the reaction time on that one. But yeah, either way, great shot. Wipes out the one team that really came dangerous to them. And I mean, to be honest, BFLs as well. What better ending for them than potentially taking on the one chicken dinner, the one thing they've been missing out on during the finals? That'd be a great comeback story as well, especially in the way and the fashion they've done it. They've taken out the first place team, or the second, essentially the best team so far in the finals, and they've taken their spot in a very fair, isolated fight. So, yeah, fellas, on the move now, 10 frags as well.
Only 2 more. And that would have put them in a top 8 scenario. It just obviously depends on, without dope, how many they got. So, potentially, the Beer Fellas are getting that last round in for everyone. We are in the top 4, so we are in the placement points now. Winner, chicken dinner. They started things off for a win. Let's see if they can win this one also. Beer Fellas with 4. SlamG now down to a 3. And Fairy Tail still holding on. Hasn't quite been the Fairy Tail ending they wanted. But there is still some magic in their story as well. Because as it stands, they are in the prize pool as well.
Fairy Tail sneaking around. SlamG sneaking around. That's definitely a sight to behold. Arctic's barely wanting to move. I'm not even sure Beer knows this. I'm pretty sure they can't even expect it. I sure as hell wouldn't. Good thing for them is, as soon as they pop out, there's not going to be not much they can really do about this. I'm talking Fairy Tail and SlamG especially. There aren't really many positions they can have a lot of playability with. And now winner chicken dinner, that's also good for BFL, as the one team that really has to make a big move is the one team that's got 4 players left standing. We'll see whether or not they can make it up to Hillside. They would walk a little bit more south. They would have a more secure path. They're opening themselves up just a tiny bit towards BFL. I'm very confused by that. Very scared of Slam G as it stands. Mogor kind of expected that as well. They didn't expect them to go towards the backside of the church as much as they did. They have found their way in, even though that position isn't great, and that might just be all they were looking for in Phase 7.
Right. Oh, they'd be looking for. I think they didn't have the intel on that north. I think they know there's a team potentially on the ridge, but because of TPP, they'd be fully aware that team can lurk and wait until they know they can get a knock. It's the change. They need to peek on over, so the MG with one backup round, one backup Mac. That'd be enough. Fairy Tale, Rondo in a position where I think he'd be happy. I see the Doritos fall from the skies. They're just going to try and close off. Great air burst with the nade. We've got enough util here. They've got to be so cautious, right? They've got to. They know that eventually at one point, and this is it. Where's it can play peekaboo? I see you. And then he can just move and shoot again. And unfortunately for winner chicken dinner, they have to play into the church now. They have to aggress in. They can't stay lurking on the north side.
Yeah. There goes Conf. 2031 being taken out by Lurex. He's going to meet his end. Brings it back to 3 teams now. Slam G trying to do the most ridiculous play, just straight up pulling towards that one ridgeline west of it, which doesn't seem as ridiculous anymore, to be honest. BFL didn't really have a great angle on it, and they weren't really ready for that rotation either. And obviously, winner chicken dinner on top of that backside of the church and top of these dips, which I would have to zoom in closer to really judge how great of a position that really is. But it does seem quite nice. I think you're barely out of nade range for both teams, and you have a pretty good spot where you can just shoot these plays. But you need to make it happen this phase. As soon as you need to move down, it might just be done and out for you, depending on how many players remain. B, on the other hand, they need to move quite a bit next phase as well. Next phase is going to be Phase 9. So to be honest, no one's really favoured that much just yet.
Yeah, but look how many smokes they've got. They are stacked. They just need to smoke, deny the line of sight. More of a defensive line than a stream to run across, a smoke wall. They make the play towards winner chicken dinner. Now they might get punished. Winner chicken dinner not under pressure. Here comes the util dump down. A little bit of a splash damage, not going to be enough here. But he's actually coming from Slam G. Lyric does get the first one, scrap that. He gets the second one. And I feel like the beer fairs were rushing to the bar a little bit too early.
Lefty. Finally against winner chicken dinner. There needs to be more, as Beer has 2 players just below them. I talked about this. This might be the danger of committing to that position a little bit too early for Beer, but then again, when you have many options, more nades are now coming in. Winner chicken dinner is just going to clean this up, and that position does seem quite well. That's slammed though! Oh my words! Lurix and Mogor take down Abyss and GMPTN, and they will fall just like that. There's no time to rest them either. Winner chicken dinner now in big trouble, but so is Lam G. Mogor has to be picked up quite fast, otherwise it's going to be dangerous to them as well. BFLS gets cleaned up, but winner chicken dinner. They've had chicken dinner already today. They're looking to make it to Luris gets taken down. 2 players now left standing, way out of position. Slam G, they should have crossed the distance already. They couldn't. Waifu's going to take down Artix. Just Mogor left. What more can he do? 1 headshot has already been landed. But his back is against the blue zone. More utility coming out. That's what he needs now. He needs to run any second. Surely he's not going to be able to cross that. No, he isn't. Winner chicken dinner. And I'll take it all back. What a performance from them. What a great play, deciding to go towards the backside of that church, using these tips to your advantage. And just like that, they clean up every single one. Complete annihilation on towards BFLs and complete annihilation on towards Slam G as well. There's one way to end this.
under the realms of C4. Winner Chicken refused to fall. They started today with a win and they closed out the final day with a victory as well. Unhinged for those guys. It has been impressive. Winner Chicken did obviously lurking their way in and out of that top 8. I think with that final game that will put them firmly in the placement points. But before we go and look at the leaderboard, we have to recap though all of the action that happened today, and it has been explosive for a final day. It was non-stop.
Believe showing us glimpses of great play. I don't want to say perfection just yet, but glimpses of why they should be in the final more often. We've seen Believe before, and that lineup is definitely very talented. They just haven't been able to find that consistency in the finals just yet. Same for Go Next. A little bit more consistent than Believe. Shining on some of these rounds too. Just not able to close out as many as they wanted to. And that was the first chicken dinner. The second one that we saw just now, I feel like kind of came off the back of that. That's where they really got the confidence for today off of. And then obviously the big storyline with Fairy Tail that we saw starting in Game 2. What a comeback. We said these guys shouldn't be in 15th place. They started today with 17 points. Just in this game that we're seeing right now alone, they've doubled that points that they've gotten to the last first 2 days. So insane performance going out from Fairy Tail as well. What could have been? That's the question. What could have been if they wouldn't have performed as badly, as miraculously badly in the first 2 days?
It is, unfortunately. It does mean, though, you know, like, even if down to that final game, the final day, there's still hope. And this is what I love about PUBG, right? When you look at a team like Fairy Tail, they were to be expected into the top section of the map, at least the top section of the leaderboard, right, in that top 8 scenario. But, okay, day number 1, day number 2, for whatever reason, it wasn't working out for them. But with 4 games left, Fairy Tail, they dig deep. I say it might not be the Fairy Tail ending that they dreamed about. It's not going to be a white wedding, but at least they might find themselves potentially in the placement points in the context of getting the money at the end of the day.
There goes the third chicken dinner that we've seen today. The Win or Die performance, a great one that we've seen. Mesmerizing indeed, and looking back at this, obviously the farm, 3-4 teams essentially fighting it out, and then the late game fight. That's what we've been waiting for. Win or Die, the team that has brought us so many tears, especially when it comes to just enemy teams. Obviously, a lot of people in the chat will be quite mad at them with how great a performance they've really shown us in the last 2 days, with how many teams they've eliminated, how many chances they've destroyed, just because of how dominant they have been, especially in the mid to early stages of the game. Barely lost an aim fight, barely lost an isolated team fight during the entirety of these finals. And just like that, you can really turn around even a 24-point difference in the final stretches of a tournament like this. If you have a consistent early game, and if, you know, you mess it up a tiny bit as the leading team, that also has to be said. They did mess it up a tiny bit. With the points they've gotten today, they've definitely slacked in these last 4 games. But if you focus on your own game, 24 points does seem like nothing.
Does sometimes seem like nothing. I think the big question, though, will be looking at those leaderboards with Winner Chicken Dinner taking the first and the last. That does warrant them into kind of a top 8 scenario. Potentially, Fairy Tail will be trying to count the points there. Then we've got other factors. Without Dope, obviously, they dropped. Did they get any kills? Will they find themselves in the top spot? And then that run from the end, the beer fellas, like last calls for the bar, and they were storming. Like, did they do enough? Do they fall short? With so many points being hoovered up at the top, though, it is an intriguing one when we come down to that final game, because everyone threw everything on the line just to see if they can find the top 8.
Yeah, pretty dangerous all around this last day. I feel like a lot of teams actually have the chances. It wasn't just Win or Die. I feel like actually Hive could have done something as well. There was this one big game just a little bit missing, and they fell short in the later stages a tiny bit too often. We saw it on Rondo, for example, right? If a couple more frags, if maybe 2 more nades have been in any of these adventuries, maybe they can get a second knock off of that first one they've gotten off of Dante, for example, in that whole fight. So a couple of things go differently. We might not see Win or Die on 103 points. And the difference as well, as we talked about, despite Win or Die going that far into the round, it's only been 6 points. that was the difference between Win or Die and Skittles now winning this tournament. 6 points only. So insane performance by Win or Die, but also insane performance by Skittles. The most surprising team by far in the finals. That's got to be said. SlamG obviously not as much. 81 points, completely on brand for them. And expect them to be coming into these player cups and into these finals especially, as often as they already have been, right? Quite a bit more.
Well, there you have it, guys. The fairy tale, it becomes the reality. 15th place to 8th in 4 games. They find themselves in the top 8. They'll be getting themselves some money. The cut-off point now, 48. The beer fellas were just short to call the bar as they rang it in a little bit too early. 45 points for them. Winner chicken dinner to get themselves some secure spot, though, in 7th. Go next in 6th. Hive, unchanged, unhinged when it comes down to 5th. So no changes around for them. Conquest, unfortunately, on that last game will lose out to SlamG as they will fall down to 4th. 3rd will go for SlamG. Skittles are in 2nd, but it comes down to Win or Die. You've got to remember, it was 10 points on average before with Skittles. In the end of the day, the consistency came in from Win or Die. 8.5 average total points for them. That was enough. Skittle took their foot off the gas. The sweets weren't remaining, and Win or Die, they're going to claim the victory.
$1,800. That is the victory indeed. Win or Die will take on the lion's share of the $5,000 that we have up for grabs here. Skittles, 1,200. I think they'll be quite confident with that. I know they've kind of thrown it away in the last 2 games, but be that as it may, 2nd, 1st place, at the end of the day, it's a big performance coming out from these guys. They've put themselves on the map. I saw quite a few chatters now asking in chat as well, who are these guys anyways, right? And that's how you build yourself a brand, right? So that's perfectly fine for you. SlamG 800, Conquest 500, and the rest of the teams looking for the last $1,000. No one in the top 8 obviously will go home empty-handed as a result of this. And as quick as it started, Mark, as quickly as it finished. I feel like we've already gone through these 4 maps so incredibly fast. We barely had any time to pause.
Yeah, these 4 maps are insane, especially the action that they unfold. Don't forget, that's the end of this circuit, though. There'll be more scrims being opened up after EWC, though. So if you want to stand the chance to get in it, to win it, you've got to be in the next one. It's not going to be a Super Cup. It's going to be a Masters, some more prize pool, but you've got to sign up. Onto Challenger Road, find out some more information. We'll get you some links in the chat. It has been a pleasure, Felix. Thanks very much for jumping in for today. And obviously, big shout out to Koa, though, for covering things. But when it comes down to it, it's win or die. There's no plan B. There's no second chance. They live by the name. They win and claim the victory, and they'll be taking the Super Cup here for number 3. That's it from us. America's on a little bit later. We'll see all you guys in chat. And remember, keep playing PUBG.